You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Hey, lower that audio if we can hear the audio, Kim, because I'm not sure what those folks are saying in the media room. I'm not sure we want to hear this, so let's not put them on the spot as you get a look at Jags headquarters, where Doug Peterson will address the media along with Ryan Nielsen, the defensive coordinator, and the Jags begin OTA number 1 as they will have 3 of those this week, only 1 open to the media. So today's kind of our day, and we'll hear from those guys. We'll see them on the practice field in a little bit, maybe show you a live peek in, and then also we'll catch up with a player after practice or maybe 2. We'll see how that all goes, and we'll have it for you tonight on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Stuart Weber is there as the Jags get on the field kind of in totality. Now, I say in totality, that might not be the case because these are voluntary, but I think early on we'll see a very good attendance rate for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we'll even see the Josh Allens of the world before he kind of skips out and goes to Arizona, or maybe he's in Arizona coming back. We'll get the report. I just think that's not even a big deal anymore. It used to be such a big part of it, who's here, who's not, and obviously the famous Tom Coughlin address to the fans and I think the state of the state or state of the franchise speech. But we know what it is now. I don't even really think people are bothered by it. There's a couple of things that like 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago when I started here in Jacksonville and you're covering the NFL, like every single step of it in a team, that used to be a big deal. And one was kind of like, oh, who's here? Who's not here, right? At this time of year. We've all grown accustomed to it's okay if they're not here. I'm a big believer that this time of year does not impact the season at all in college and in the NFL. Sure, doesn't hurt. But I think they could do away with this stage, and I don't think you're going to see a different product on the field in the fall, in my opinion. Then the other thing that's changed is the draft pick stuff. Like, they all get slotted. And we used to follow Tyson. I remember Tyson Alualu, your year. Mm-hmm. We met him at the airport because he had held out a little bit and his agent working on the deal and everything else. And we got him arriving at Jacksonville International Airport at like 10 o'clock one night from Hawaii. It was a big deal. And we don't do that anymore because you don't have to.
Yeah, Tyson, welcome to Jacksonville. Here's an Oklahoma Joe for you. Enjoy.
Yeah, well, then there's that, too.
that Jack Del Rio warm welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't bringing that up, but you did.
Well, I mean, hey, it happened.
It did happen.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. We got the Kim Corner in on a Monday as well. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Is that a new shirt, old shirt? Because that shirt is shining.
Oh, no, man. I've had that shirt for a while. I think I've worn it before on the show. Doors, man. Shout out to the Doors. You know, there's the knowns, there's the unknowns, and then there's the Doors.
Yeah, it's legendary. I don't remember seeing that shirt. Maybe I have.
I don't know. Yeah, I've had it for like 3 or 4 years now.
How many T-shirts do you have?
I mean, I probably have, because I always have them on hangers, right? I can't really fold that well, so they're all on hangers. I would probably say in my closet right now, I have around 50 T-shirts, and I probably wear 10 of them.
No, you wear way more than 10.
I mean, like, usually there's a black tee, there's a band tee every once in a while, but yeah.
That's funny you say that. I thought you were going to say, like, you put it in a pretty good rotation. I think about this sometimes, especially I have, like, a lot of polo shirts, golf shirts, and I'm like, stop giving. I don't want any more. Like, if you play in our Dream 18, you never get a polo. I think one time we've had a polo shirt.
Sure.
And there's a reason for that. It's very selfish. I don't need another damn polo shirt. I get plenty of them.
Yeah.
But I always say this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to rotate here. I'm going to, like, wear this one, and then, like, 3 weeks later, I'll wear the next one. Or T-shirts, too. Mm-hmm. It never happens. For some reason, I think there's a subconscious that we like a certain shirt. And a lot of it has to do with my physique at the time. How I'm feeling when I get up.
Yeah.
If I feel fat, then I don't want that shirt. If I feel pretty good, well, then I want to show off my tremendous physique.
Well, thankfully for you.
You have that all day, every day. See, I don't. Mine fluctuates.
Well, I mean, it seems like the style nowadays is more like of a loose shirt anyway. So, like, all the tighter shirts that I had have kind of just like gone to the wayside.
Is that the latest?
That's kind of the latest.
No more schmediums?
I've got into no more schmediums, man. Go and rock a little more of a tall tee kind of look. That's what I'm bringing back now. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I have no problem doing that. I need it.
Yeah, here we go.
Right now, I need it. Back to that diet conversation. That has not taken place over the last couple of days. There's been nothing that's been settled on yet.
Yeah.
But needs to soon. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Jags OTAs, again, we'll show you there. What a wild weekend it was. I mean, really culminating with the NBA last night. Minnesota gets the win over, how about the Pacers and Minnesota winning those game sevens?
Oh, yeah. I mean, fantastic. I mean, maybe the game of the tournament last night between the Nuggets and the Wolves, who were all but dead to rights, down by 20, and KAT and company and Rudy Gobert. I mean, it was really the Naz Reid game, which I had it written down last week with the Naz Reid tattoo thing. Dude's starting to become a little bit of a folk hero now, it seems like, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty wild what transpired. Obviously, the broken hand didn't help for Brunson and the Knicks. And somewhat disappointing. I mean, listen, Indiana's the capital of the world right now when it comes to basketball, it seems, with everything going on. But I think Celtics-Knicks would have been a lot of fun. And so kind of a swing and a miss for not only the Knicks, but maybe for the NBA, because this could be a dud of a series. I mean, the Celtics are so good. They seem like the dominant team left, but everybody would have said, Minnesota, how are you going to beat Denver? And especially the way that thing had swung, nobody would have predicted it. So I think there is still some unpredictability here left in the NBA Finals, and Minnesota is kind of that upstart team, even though Dallas is right there with Luka. I love the star power. You got the Kyrie story. Yeah. And so I think it's a good Final Four. I just think it could have been better with the Knicks, with all due respect to Indiana.
No, I mean, I agree. I think Indiana is kind of the odd man out here. Kind of like the underdog, but like I don't want to call them the vanilla underdog because they do have Tyrese Halliburton, which is a really cool story, and that dude lit it up against the Knicks. So props to him. But yeah, but Boston's a different team. You know, Boston's a different animal. I'm really curious to see if the so much time off is going to give them a little rust or not. But once again, it's kind of been the story in the West, you know, I mean, and I said it when the series started, the T-Wolves and Nuggets game was going to be the series to watch, and now it's going to be Luka and then the Mavericks taking on Ant and the Wolves. So once again, that's going to be, I think, the series to watch, with all due respect to Boston, Indianapolis. But I think if anything, the NBA is celebrating the fact that there's some fresh blood now in the NBA, you know, and that fresh blood is the Wolves. They're kind of like the up and coming team. Some people might call them a little cocky, a little arrogant, but like I think it's good for the league. You know, Ant waving last night, you know, bye to the fans, and Joker feeling a certain type of way about it. I mean, it was good drama, it was good theater, and I think going forward now you have some storylines to watch.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't mind it at all. I mean, I've made the comparison before to the Jags, like with the Timberwolves, and it's like this thing started in 2015 basically for the Timberwolves. That's where they got Karl Anthony Towns, I think, came in 15. So I think to see it 9 years later, I don't know if we want to wait that long in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
From 21 to 2030, if you will, but maybe you don't have to wait as long in the NFL. But and they're not there yet. They still have to get one more and then maybe another one on top of that. But I think you're right. Anthony Edwards, fast rising star, which we've had two of them. Brunson as well. I mean, again, they've done some things, but these guys are hitting a new level now on the biggest stage, and I think that's very good for the NBA.
And also, you have to give Tyrese Halliburton his flowers too as well. Like I get sometimes like he can, you know, he's more a facilitator, but that dude was the reason why the Pacers won. You know, and I think we always talk about making a name for yourself in the playoffs, and Halliburton's kind of done it all year with his ability to facilitate, average like 12, 13 assists a game, but he's found a new echelon in that Game 7, man. So now Tyrese Halliburton's is getting added to the list of elite NBA players.
Yeah, well, not only that, I think he had a couple poor games leading into that one, and then they were on fire. They shot 77%. It was an NBA record, I think 67% for the game, or 66, which is an NBA record. So that eclipses the mark of, or the first half half shooting eclipsed the mark of the Spurs, who shot 74% back in like 2014. So, and by the way, it's tough to come back. We thought it was like that's in the NFL. It's hard to do in the NBA, apparently, because last 5 NBA champions haven't even made it to their conference finals the following year. So that's pretty difficult. What was the favorite thing in sports this weekend? There's a bunch. I mean, the NASCAR fight is interesting if you watch that. The boxing world, obviously, Fury goes down. We started the weekend with an arrest in the golf world, and we end it with a record from Xander Schauffele, and he finally gets off the schneid. He was kind of like the latest Phil Mickelson, hadn't won a major, and he's able to do so. A lot going on in the sports world.
No, for sure. I mean,
to OTAs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, watching Usyk win was great with Tyson Fury, but to me, the biggest thing in sports, and it's something that I think you can ride this wave now for years to come, I think, was the Game 7 last night between Denver and Minnesota, because Minnesota looked dead to rights. Hopefully people listen to me and put all their money on Joker having the over because, well, we definitely have the over as we all expected to, and Jamal Murray contributed as well. What it comes down to is Porter didn't do his part. It's a big three for a reason. When you have two of your top guys scoring 34, I think 35 respectively, and the other part of that combination scoring, I think, was 9, not going to win a lot of games. So it was, I think, is just, once again, it showcases the new blood. It showcases, and Ant didn't even have a good game. Gobert, for whatever reasons, hitting turnaround jump shots out of nowhere over Joker, which was crazy to see. And obviously, Karl Anthony Towns finished it down the line as well. But I just think excitement, new blood, a little swagger, cockiness. Like, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are that. So to me, that was probably the biggest story I'm taking away from the sports weekend.
My guess is you didn't see you're not watching the race for the fight.
Oh, no, I saw it.
Well, I mean, you saw the end.
I didn't watch the race.
It was pretty interesting. So here's where I'm going with it. And this happened it was an all-star race last night in NASCAR.
Okay.
And so, I mean, they're playing for $1 million. I mean, they're driving for $1 million. They're
Sure.
not, which is significant, but it's not like points and everything else to get you in the playoffs and all that toward the end of the year. Well, 2 laps in, Stenhouse Jr. goes 3 wide. Busch doesn't like it. He gets kind of shoved up into the wall. He doesn't crash or anything. He comes down. He just purposely crashes Stenhouse, just sends him in. Well,
Sure.
The crazy thing is, it's a 200-lap race, and he can't leave. At that place, you can't leave. A lot of times you can go leave, get out. There's a tunnel underneath the track or something.
Yeah.
He couldn't leave.
Why?
There's nowhere to go. There's just, while the race is going on, you can't leave.
Okay.
They can't just
You can't go in the stands and just walk out at an exit or something?
I guess not.
Okay.
It's an old school track where they've kind of revived.
Okay.
And that's where they're having the All-Star race. So the bottom line, at Daytona, you can go underneath, and if you're in the infield, and they've got a pathway under there. They don't have that here.
Gotcha.
Because, again, they just revived this place a couple years ago. So, and this is the race that they run.
Okay.
So, anyway, he says he's going to, basically said he was going to do something after the race. So, and so I'm wondering, I'm like, 2 things. Is he going to stay this hot about getting crashed out? Or is it going to be even more steamy because he can't go anywhere? So, it just kind of keeps the blood's boiling because now you got to wait. Yeah. But I actually thought it might have been, I was like, is this staged? This was 3 laps in, and now you got to fight at the end. And what you've seen in racing, it reminded me a little bit of what WWE is trying to get back to. No, seriously, that's what racing would like to, do they need to get back to that? The old school is, these guys would throw some punches. After races and stuff like that. They'd be pissed off at each other.
Yeah.
The sport's gotten very nice, right? Very corporate. And, I mean, no different than, what you guys tell me. I don't watch WWE, but it's taken on a new level because it's that, the Attitude Era.
Attitude Era, yeah. I mean, there's cussing now. There's blood, yeah.
It felt a little bit like that. I mean, I know you're not a NASCAR fan, but, there's no... You don't have to be. It's not like we're going to get this in the golf world or something
for sure.
that. But
yeah.
It was interesting because people are talking about it.
No, it's definitely interesting, but I'm not going to put Kyle Busch in terms of The Rock and the Attitude Era because it's Kyle Busch, man. Watching the video, there are some punches being thrown, but I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously.
But you can take wrestling seriously.
I don't take wrestling seriously in terms of obviously it's scripted, but I'm entertained by it. I'm not entertained by Kyle Busch looking like a dork trying to throw punches. I'm all set, man.
Yeah. It's just, I get it's to each his own. The NASCAR fan would probably say maybe the NASCAR fan actually likes wrestling a lot. I'm just saying.
I'm sure it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I just think there's to me, it felt very staged.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a NASCAR diehard, but it just felt kind of okay, is this something that is another storyline? NASCAR, by the way, is hot right now in terms of their racing. It's been pretty good. If you're a NASCAR fan, it's been very good. The finishes that we've had, a bunch. So I think I wonder if this was a little bit that bad boy nature. You need some of that. We don't have that. Kyle Busch has been that. He's been that antagonist.
Sure.
He's been that guy. Nobody, you either like him or you don't. Very polarizing figure. We need that in sports. We can say that on a lot of sports that kind of hide under the radar a little bit. I think part of the reason that exists is because we don't have the polarizing figures or enough of them. And now this will bring a kind of a new level to it. Where does it go? I don't know. I don't think these guys are going to fight after every race. But
hey, I could get. I mean, I'd tune in to watch that.
Yeah. And how about that? The Preakness Stakes Glenn brings up, too. Yeah, you know what's funny is I did not watch that. Of course, I had graduation at that time. So
how'd that go?
Graduation was good. Actually, very good. Better than I thought. I was trying like hell to get out of there. I was begging for a Trevor Lawrence contract extension.
Oh, come on, man. You got to support the kids walking. No?
I mean, you don't have to. But,
okay.
I mean, you should.
You got to show up.
But anyway, they did a good job with it. 650 people through in about 2 hours and 5 minutes.
That's not bad. Who was the speaker?
They don't do a commencement speaker.
Okay.
That was a good question, though. I was reading it. I was like, do they do a commencement speaker? I didn't know that. So they have like the superintendent talks and then several kids talk. Kids do a great job speaking. Yeah. I think that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there were, I don't know how many people were there, 650 times. I bet there were 3,000, 4,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a great job speaking in front of that crowd. Like that was terrific. But the crazy, I mean, you can only announce 650 names so fast.
And
nobody tripped. There were some backflips.
Backflips. Okay.
Once they came down.
Yep.
There was one like kind of hooting and hollering, like kind of like had a moment on the stage.
Oh, that's
I give credit to like all the administrators. They don't like try to. No, I don't want to encourage this because then they will. I don't think they encourage it. But they don't go like out of their way to be like, well, you know. They just kind of let it go and move on, which was pretty good. So it was well done. A lot of graduations at the University of North Florida over the next. I think that's where St. Johns County does all theirs, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Preakness Stakes was this weekend, and now we have Jags OTAs. What do you remember about OTAs?
What do I remember about OTAs?
Nothing.
Not too much, obviously, right? I mean, I don't think they go full pads, if I'm not mistaken. But with OTAs, it's your first chance to start working together as a unit, as a team. You can start doing some install. You're not going to throw the entire playbook at them, week one of the OTAs. But it's really just your first chance to kind of run around and get acclimated to the game of football again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the Jaguars are able to do. Somebody asked about the media. Media's only allowed in today. And so Stuart Weber is there for us, and we'll hopefully take a peek and hear from the folks, and maybe can even flip around some of Doug's sound. I can't imagine we're going to hear too much from Doug, but the schedule is out, and see if they have any comments about that. I do wonder if we're going to have some joint practices. I think that's a possibility, so maybe there's a little insight on that. But the next two on Tuesday and Thursday are closed to the media, about one every week. So I think out of the I think there's 10 of these or 9 of these, and we'll be invited to 3 of them, I believe is the case. So we'll have some updates along the way, but it's not overly like, oh, wow, watch this, right? It's a little different than training camp. I think these guys are just kind of getting their feet wet out there, and everybody all together, or most people all together, will see how much attendance is, and then the Jags get to install some things and get out on the grass, as they like to say, and ramp it up just a little bit more. But the ramped up part really happens coming up in training camp, of course. All right, let's do this. We hit on a bunch of different things. We go a little deeper on the Jaguars, of course, when we come back. We take a break. Brent Austen Show on a Monday. Hope you're doing well and off to a good start to your work week. Yeah, Jags headquarters has been the place to be. There's a lot of news coming out of there. One of the topics today, there was a little bit of a rumor floating around this weekend about Trevor Lawrence's contract and where it could land. How close are we to it? Maybe poked around on that story and give you the update on what I can tell on the Trevor Lawrence potential deal. Coming up when we come back on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu. my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun, it's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville Orange Park and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out gwoutdoorliving.com for your free estimate.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
There's a look at Everbank Stadium. Obviously, just a week ago, the stadium discussion took place, not even really. And tonight at Fletcher High School, there will be another huddle. We have played our interview with Mark Lamping several times on TV and here on the show. So you can definitely find that on YouTube and other places. And now we just kind of sit back and wait, and they get some feedback. Big night last night at the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund dinner, where Lamping and several others were there. And there's some other big storylines going into the fall, like Tom Coughlin going into the pride of the Jaguars. I thought Tom was really good on the stadium and how excited he was about that. So you'll hear that coming up in just a little bit as we caught up with Tom, Tony Boselli, LeRoy Butler. And LeRoy makes a little prediction about that Packers and Jags game, by the way, too. I'm not sure you're going to like that. Heads up on St. John's Country Day, playing in the state semifinals early on a Monday, 10 a.m. start time, and they take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first, so they are off to a nice start playing Northside Christian. We have two teams in the state championships, Final Fours, Trinity Christian and St. John's Country Day, and then on the girls' side, softball, we have three, Baker County, Baldwin, and also University Christian. So we'll keep you up to date on those and see how those folks do. Also, UNF golf team is in the Nationals this week. St. John's River has their softball team playing in the World Series, and also their baseball team playing in the World Series. Softball starts today, baseball later in the week. So a lot of good stuff finishing up on the spring sports circuit. All right, breaking news out of Jacksonville Jaguars headquarters, and no surprise here as we've kind of hinted at it, but the Jacksonville Jaguars will have joint practices with the Tampa Bay Bucks. That's their second game in the preseason. Jags are playing the Chiefs, Jags are playing the Bucks and at home, and then they go on the road to play Atlanta, and usually that sweet spot is in that second one. So that's who they're going to play. They're going to play the Bucks, and no surprise, and kind of something that I think Doug Peterson likes to do, but we saw Doug Marrone like to do it. I think all the coaches like to do this now.
Of course. Yeah, I think a lot of coaches like to do this because there is something to be said for having to go against the same guys every single day in practice. It gets mundane. It gets played out. So anytime you can have different colored jerseys, different helmets across from you, it's only going to be more amplified and a better practice for everybody. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a great team to go against. I mean, I think highly regarded as a pretty solid team in the NFC, but also a team that likes to pass. And if you're a Jaguars secondary member, you got to deal with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and company. Like that's going to show you real quick of one of the elite, I would say, receiving duos in the NFL. So you better mind your P's and Q's, get yourself right for that practice, those scrimmages, whatever you want to call them, in that game, because it's going to be one of the better ones you'll see all season.
Yeah, so no surprise, like I said, that is something that has become almost an annual thing. Now, what's different here is they're hosting it. I got to go back and look the last time they hosted it, but it's either the Bucks, I feel like, with Dirk Cutter when he was their coach, or it's Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta had come down too since I've been here, but it hasn't happened very often in Jacksonville. I think some of that is the housing, of where since they practice right there downtown and where you put people. We've been to Minnesota and New England, and New England was actually a little bit tricky even from a hotel space, believe it or not, because of Foxborough and where they were. But been to Baltimore, and that's a good location. And they have like Minnesota and Baltimore specifically have off-site locations where they host their training camp. Yep. Not far, but not right at the stadium. So I think that kind of adds to it. Obviously, Atlanta, they go to Flowery Branch. They're not right downtown in Atlanta. So I think sometimes the logistics play a role in it, but it also shows you the Miller Electric Center. Now they can have some guests and hosts, and it's a good place to have this set up to be able to do what both teams want to accomplish. So I like it, too. It would have been interesting to get Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City, and obviously the relationship between Andy Reid and Doug Peterson, but probably doesn't make as much sense doing it the first week, and it breaks up. The other thing that Doug Peterson did say is he liked the schedule, the way that it shook out, but he said he wouldn't have minded a Thursday nighter because he likes the back end of the Thursday night for that mini bye. Interesting, because my interpretation of the schedule is I think Doug's going to really like this. Well, which he kind of said he did. But because of the creatures of habit, you can kind of stay on. Now, you do have a Monday night game and a Sunday night game, but outside of that, they can stay very routine for the most part.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that he probably wants because their bye is kind of later on in the season.
Well, that's true,
and sometimes you want to balance it more towards the middle of the season. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you could have that Thursday night game earlier on, that can kind of almost be like your mini bye, and give you guys a little more rest. But, I mean, it's never going to be perfect. And I think overall, I think it's not a bad schedule. Like, you start out pretty, going through like a murderer's row, if you will, but you finish a little easier. So what you want.
Yeah, I think some other things about coming out of Jags headquarters today. Stuart Weber, by the way, is here. You can follow Stuart at Stuart A.S. Jackson. I'm kind of picking some off, and we might be able to play some of this sound a little bit later, but hopefully it gets done, and it will. In reference to Trevor Lawrence's contract. Knows Trent and Trevor's agent are working. Understand it's the business of the NFL, but love it to be resolved. So still more momentum about trying to get this thing done sooner than later. Which shows just where the Jaguars are at with this. There's no hesitation right now about this. Very little. In fact, I think this has been way more aggressive in front of a microphone about Trevor Lawrence and his contract from both Trevor and the Jaguars side of things. Trent Baalke a couple weeks ago, and now Doug Peterson commenting on it. And Doug usually stays away from this. I've asked Doug in last year's in production meetings, like going into year 3, like what a big year it could be, because after year 3, a lot of quarterbacks are getting the job done in terms of getting their new contract and everything else. And he was like, yeah, I don't really worry about that. And that's in a production meeting where he might be a little bit more like, well, here, he's not being recorded there. But I think the coaches try to stay out of this stuff. But I would suspect Doug is got to be somewhat involved in the decision-making here, right, with Trent Baalke to be like, yeah, this is our guy. I know what this looks like, and this is what it looks like, a franchise quarterback. Trust me, we see him every day. We see how he works. We see how he carries himself. We see how he leads. I think Doug's input here is so valuable to the Jags making, in some people's minds, maybe an early decision.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've said this many times in the show before. I think Doug Peterson came here because of Trevor Lawrence, so obviously he's going to be a giant Trevor Lawrence supporter, as he should be. That's the quarterback of your offense. So, yeah, I think he's going to offer some input, obviously being an offensive-minded guy that he is. I think he has the eye for what makes a great quarterback, and he should know. So, whether it's like a little extra push or, hey, give him an extra $1 million, I mean, I'm sure right now Doug Peterson is Trevor Lawrence's biggest fan.
Yeah, I don't think it's – by the way, I don't think he cares about the weeds of it, whether it's a $50 million deal or anything else. I just think the signing off of – again, this is a guy that knows quarterbacks. He's been a quarterback. He's seen great quarterbacks up close. He's coached quarterbacks to their highest ability. And there's got to be something in there for Doug that says, hey, this isn't – I bet he was a huge believer in Carson Wentz continuing to rise, right, and ascend. And it really didn't happen. Like, that was his ascension. Like, that was his highest point. That was his ceiling under Doug Peterson. He got the most out of a guy like Nick Foles. Now, you never know, did he think there was more for Nick Foles, or did he know they were getting the most out of Nick Foles?
Sure.
But I think when you have these conversations, if I'm Trent Baalke, if I'm Shad Khan, I'm leaning on Doug. Like, how does he compare to Marino, to Favre, to these guys that you've been around? And what does it look like? What's it supposed to look like? And then again, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Is he studying the right way? Is he holding himself the right way? Is he the CEO? Which we think that's really Trevor. That's a part of Trevor that we all can say, yeah, that looks right.
No, for sure. And, I mean, yeah, I think Doug Peterson has a great eye for quarterbacks, obviously. Now the whole Jalen Hurts ordeal, when he benched him, I mean, and brought in Nate Sudfeld, I think it was. I mean, there's one little thing where it's like, okay, well, should you have done that? But no, overall, I trust Doug Peterson's judgment, especially when it comes to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Here's the deal on the Trevor stuff. Did you see it over the weekend? It was like, so I never found the Jeremy Fowler report. See, there's these aggregators out there, and I still don't understand why people are so bothered by them, but it is what it is. Like, people are bothered by them. Like, that's like a popular thing on Twitter too. But to be honest with you, like, I saw this because of the aggregator. I think that's what they call them.
Are you saying like the guys that just like aren't necessarily like in the business, but they just, okay.
They're taking like the Dove Kleiman guy or whatever, right? Like they'll take everybody's reports. And I think what people don't like about him is that they sometimes don't give credit to the reporter.
Okay.
Well, in this case, they did. I mean, they said Jeremy Fowler indicated that like around $50 million is where like they're working toward it, Trevor's side and obviously the Jaguars side, which would not be a surprise, but kind of indicated around $50 million is where they're going to land on a year. So, Again, these things are not hard to even say because they kind of fall in line with what we've been saying for weeks. But the thing about it is I couldn't find the Fowler report. I don't know if that was just on TV, if he tweeted about it and I missed it. I tried to go back and look, at least at the time. I didn't see it.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was some new information out.
So did he even really say it?
Well,
know?
Then that's the other thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I will say this: like I dug around on it a little bit because obviously it's a big story, and my sense was nothing is imminent. Like that report kind of indicated a little bit like, hey, maybe there's something coming even as soon as this week. The sense that I got, and nobody's going to sit there and tell you, yeah, heads up, it's coming Thursday. Well, they might, they could, but there was none of that. They're still like talking.
Okay.
And no guarantees it's even going to get done from what I understand, but that's in any negotiation, right? You don't want to think, okay, this is a locked deal to get done if you're in the negotiation phase. So that's kind of the latest on the Trevor Lawrence deal, but it continues to be a conversation, which I think as long as it's a conversation and they're answering or they're not shoving it to the back burner, this still feels very much like the Jaguars are going to get a Trevor Lawrence deal done before the start of the season.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see when this deal does in fact get done. And obviously right now the biggest conversation point is how much money is Trevor Lawrence going to make. And, you know, if you buy into the speculations, the rumors, you're talking about around $50 million at least. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what that final number is going to look like. That could be, you know, between two camps right now. You know, I'm not sure where Trevor's camp's at. Obviously, I know Jacksonville wants him here. It's just trying to find the right price for both of them. And I'm really wondering, like, all right, so let's see. Joe Burrow's what, 53?
55.
55. That was a couple years ago. I mean, if you're Trevor's team, do you justify saying, all right, well, that was a couple years ago, so go ahead and give us, you know, 56, 57. I mean, I would wonder, like, what this final number is going to look like. Where do you make Trevor Lawrence in terms of, once again, I know the Patrick Mahomes deal is above everybody else, but, like, in terms of highest paid per year, are we talking about Trevor Lawrence being the highest paid quarterback per year in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm just saying I don't think we're going to see that. But I also think that's a worthy place to start if you're the Jags. I mean, if you're Trevor's camp, why not? Like, I mean, I would do it too. I just don't know if that's where it lands. And I don't know. Like I said to somebody yesterday when I was talking about it, what I have a hard feel for, of course, everybody wants the money. And this seems like a situation, and a lot of these times, this is my understanding of it, Austin, a lot of these times, it's more the actual end of the day dollar is very much to do with the league and the agent and the setting the precedent and keeping the ball moving down the road for the next guy. Like, it's almost responsibility, right? When you were doing the CBA stuff, back when you were playing, and that was during that time frame when there was a lockout and stuff. You're doing that CBA. You're making that sacrifice, not just for you to play in the next couple of years, but for the people down the road that will play.
Sure.
That's part of it. I kind of sense the same thing when it comes to big contracts. Move the needle contracts. Move the ball down the road, keep going. And that's how we're here, by the way, at $55 million, because people have done that. I think that's agent responsibility more than player responsibility. Honestly, don't think Trevor really gives a damn if he makes $52 million a year or $56 million a year.
But you don't think, I mean, and maybe, listen, you know Trevor Lawrence better than I know him. I've never even talked to the guy. Said what's up to him, but that's about it. But I got to think as a competitor and having some sort of ego, you're a quarterback in the NFL. You're going to have an ego. Like, it's as simple as that. If Jared Goff's making $53 million a year, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I want more than Jared Goff is making per year because I think I'm the better quarterback than Jared Goff. I think if you ask a lot of people around the NFL, I think if you ask a lot of fans that aren't, you know, Lions or Jaguars fans that don't have a dog in the fight, and that you go, hey, if you're trying to lead a team, make a run, and you're building, you know, with a quarterback, you're taking Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence. I think people would say Trevor Lawrence. So if that's the case, then I want to make more money than Jared Goff.
I do get that part. That's around $53 million. That doesn't necessarily eclipse Burrow, but I think you're in that ballpark, and you might be right. I just think it's a headline for a day, and then that's it. I don't get the sense that Trevor, and I don't want to do this to his team. I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm negotiating for the Jags.
Losing all the bargaining chips here from Brent.
No, I just don't get the feel. Like, I don't know. He just doesn't strike me as a guy that cares about that kind of stuff. Like, he really doesn't. I mean, I think he's about to make more money in his life than he ever thought he would make when he left Cartersville, Georgia, and he even left Clemson. I mean, the money is so high now. And I just don't think that little, hey, I'm making 53.1 is that big a deal to him. That's my take on it. That's my outside look at it. But again, I do think it will be important to his camp to slot him that way, to be fair to him and to kind of get the win for him there. That feels like a win in a negotiation when you're like, okay, I'm up to this point. We are better than Jared Goff, right? We are going to get a better deal. We're going to get one of the best deals, one of the richest deals, all those things. I do think those are important to the business side of the NFL, to sports and athletes. But it's really their camp more than him in this case. I think there are some athletes, by the way, that would go in there and be like, yeah, I want to be the highest paid guy. Like, this is super important for me to be the highest paid guy. I just don't feel like Trevor's that guy.
Well, then I guess that falls on his camp to get that for him. Because if Trevor Lawrence makes the same amount of money or less than Jared Goff, then I tip my hat to Jared Goff's camp, because you guys essentially finesse the lines, I feel like, then. So congratulations.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where it shakes out. I think it's going to shake out. I'm somewhat surprised. This is why I bring this up every now and again. This is why it's a little bit of a topic right now. I am somewhat surprised that there has been this much conversation publicly about his contract. And it seems like both sides are very transparent right now that they are working on this. Now, I don't see them working 8 hours a day on it, but I think they are actively working. I mean, this is an organization that back on January 18th or 21st or whatever it was, said, yeah, we haven't even talked to Josh Allen yet.
Yeah.
So I think you juxtapose that to where this is at right now, and you feel like, wow, they're real. I mean, there's momentum for it. There's motivation for it. They really want this thing done, and we've gone through all the reasons for it. I think there's a lot. I think Shad wants it done. I wonder about the stadium part of this. Like, hey, this is just one more thing to push. We got our guy leading into 28, 29, 30, like that's going to open up this stadium. Like you can already say, you can book the concert, man, in 2028 in September. Trevor Lawrence is the lead singer. Like, I mean, you can already say it. Is that a thing? Is that important to the momentum? I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. It shows stability, much like the lease is going to show stability for the franchise. And so I do think some of those things might add up to get where we could get, where this contract gets done. And I'm a little surprised at all the transparency about it, though. But I like it. I don't mind it. I think we know where it's at. I think right now I'd be more surprised if he doesn't get a deal by the start of the season, based on the conversations, based on the words.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get a deal by the start of the season, then could one assume that he does want to be paid like the top quarterback in the NFL?
Maybe.
Yeah. Or else it's like, what would the holdup be,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then what I think brings in a whole different play. Because now if he doesn't get it done by the start of the season, I think he won't until the end of the season.
Sure.
And then where's it at? Okay, how well does he play, and how much north does that price tag go? What if he doesn't play well? What if he just plays okay? Like, you start to bring in all these other things if they don't get the deal done.
Well, I mean, who else is in line to get paid as a quarterback in the NFL? Like a top guy. I mean, Brock Purdy eventually. Dak, I guess, is still waiting to see what's going to happen with him. Tua. But, like, do you see Tua getting more than Joe Burrow?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think they're going to slot similar, though. I think if you're going to pay Tua probably $52.5, $53 million, it's going to be, I think Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, those are the guys. Lamar Jackson are more in play for those guys.
Sure. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if for some reason the deal doesn't get done and they can't come to an agreement, I'm not too worried about having to overpay the next year, even if Trevor Lawrence does have an all-pro type of year.
Yeah.
Like the Brock Purdy contract could make you nervous because if Brock Purdy has success again and he, goes on another Super Bowl run, well then, yeah, you're going to be the highest. I mean, you have to. And I don't care what people want to say in terms of his skill set, in terms of how good of a quarterback he is. You lead a team to 2 Super Bowls. You lead a team to close to going to 2 Super Bowls. You're getting paid.
Yeah,
it's just the way that it goes.
Yeah.
So, like, that contract could make you nervous in terms of if he gets paid before Trevor Lawrence, is that going to reset things a little bit? But besides that, yeah, I'm not too worried if Trevor's got to play out this contract this year and then next year you get paid.
Duval Jags jumps in 58 million. Twitter and national detractors are going to bash the deal. With that said, does Trevor want the added pressure of being the highest paid guy, or does he opt for less to avoid the scrutiny? I don't think that will be a motivating factor. I don't think these guys, listen, it comes with scrutiny anyway. It comes with pressure. He actually mentioned it. He's like, listen, there's already a lot of pressure to perform. This just adds to it. That's fine. Like, that's part of the business. But I don't think 58 million or 56 million or being the highest paid guy is going to add any more pressure to him. I mean, I understand we might make that, but I got to feel that guy feels enough weight on his shoulders. I mean, he's trying to carry an organization. He's trying to live up to who he's supposed to be. There's a lot of things already on Trevor, no matter what the check says.
No, I mean, I think if you're going to be, he's for sure going to be a top 5 paid quarterback hands down in the NFL. And if you're a top 5 paid quarterback in the NFL, that's pressure.
Yeah.
Because now you get to perform like you're a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. So regardless if he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I still think the pressure is going to be the same, and it's the pressure to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Allen's feeling that on the other side of the ball now. He's paid almost $30 million a year. By the way, Josh Allen not here. He is in Arizona, so that's a little bit more of the news.
As where the whole
out.
Team should be.
We'll
the whole team should be there right now.
We'll give you some more updates. Ryan Nielsen just talking as well. Jags getting out on the field at 11 o'clock. Let's take a break. Brent Austen Show here on a Monday just kicking off, and 1-0 after 2 innings is the score for St. John's Country Day. Trinity Christian just left to go down to Fort Myers, make that long bus trip. They'll play tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the state Final Four. So 2 teams trying to make it happen with a couple more wins and bring home a state championship.
We all have our favorite spots in town to eat, drink, and have a good time. And once in a while, we try a new spot. This new spot will soon become your favorite spot. It's 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco. Where else can you get unicorn fish? It was really good. They have local fresh seafood. Try a terrific burger or a Jack's Hot Chicken sandwich. The ambiance is perfect for any occasion. The idea here is to have fun, have a good time. Whether you're chilling out on the couches, cozying up to the bar, having lunch or dinner, it's a throwback experience. 1937, when going out to dinner was like going to a party. They even have a photo booth. Who doesn't like a good photo booth? We recently brought the entire team out to try it, and everyone said, I'm bringing my significant other here to try it as well. The new spot becomes your favorite spot. Make 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco your new favorite spot.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to String Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to String Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
St. John's Country Day, and that was yesterday as they made their way down to Fort Myers where the baseball state championships are. And right now they just gave up a 2-run home run in the third inning. And so they got a little bit of a trouble, down 2-1 to Northside Christian, but plenty of time left in the game, and St. John's can swing it. So expect them to make a little bit of run. They've come back a couple different times already in the postseason. We'll keep you updated on that one at 10 o'clock in the morning game. Trinity plays tomorrow. How about this? You know, I complain sometimes about whether the FHSAA, or one of my big complaints is, hey, why does Georgia do it better?
Yes.
There's another example of Georgia maybe doing it better. Carlton County is in the state baseball playoffs today.
Mm-hmm.
They canceled school.
Love it.
So the kids can go.
Love it.
The best.
It's awesome, man.
Isn't that fantastic?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I guess it's the last week of school, right? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For them?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I'm sure they don't test. Like, they're not canceling, like, the final exams
That's
and
a good
stuff.
point.
So,
like,
yeah, I mean.
We're at the time of year.
Yeah.
But still,
I still love it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll have a bunch of kids there, and they're trying to go back-to-back, by the way, in Charlton County. So up in Folkestone, Marcel Robinson did a story on them and the track team you can find on our YouTube channel, Action Sports Jacks. Just subscribe to it. And by the way, Olivia Tasley also did a story on St. John's River baseball and softball. You can find that as well. We have our schedule show, a lot on our YouTube channel, although we love you watching here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Also, you can find that on the app and actionnewsjacks.com. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'll tell you this, I got meetings today about even more stuff going on. Another successful game for the Jacksonville Armada on our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network Saturday night, and we'll debut the women's team this coming Saturday. So that's pretty cool. Somebody's going to have to give me a thumbs up, Kim's Corner, if we've got Stewart or not. Not yet? Okay. I think Stewart's trying to jump in here and have a little report before the OTAs begin. Gabe Davis not there. He just had a baby.
Yeah, nice.
So, and I mentioned right at the break, Josh Allen in Arizona. You make a nice point. Maybe everybody should go to Arizona.
Maybe we should go to Arizona, man. Everyone get better. You know what I'm saying? It seems like Josh Allen, whatever he's doing there, just keep doing it, Josh, because obviously had some immense effects on your numbers last year, and it helped get you paid.
I think Doug's quote was something to the effect of Josh knows Josh.
Yeah.
And do you sense that there's more trust from coaches to players than maybe when you played? In these kind of situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, just because now, like, everyone is so versed on their own bodies of what they need to do. Everyone's different. So I think there definitely is a little more trust now in terms of players doing their own thing because, listen, it's not like Josh Allen's going on vacation and not going to be working. Josh Allen's going to be working. So, I think there's a little more trust now. And I think when you have that trust and, the player can kind of do what he needs to do, what he feels he is right for him to succeed, I think that can go a long ways.
Listen, they can't control it anyway. It's voluntary. I'm just saying I feel like there's a little bit, maybe they just have no choice. Maybe that's why you feel less kind of like angst around these moments where, oh, man, I wish the guy was here. I think everybody would rather their guy be here just from a continuity, chemistry, everything else standpoint. But I do get the sense, from Fred Taylor back in the day to Maurice Jones-Drew, like Maurice Jones-Drew when he was doing it, felt like there was a little angst around that time if he would miss. But he had his routine. Like, I'm cool with routines and how you work and people you trust. And now I think the Jags have changed that a little bit because of the MEC, the Miller Electric Center. They have every amenity possible. Mm-hmm. So that was a little bit part of it for those guys back in the day. There's less of that now. But, hey, man, like we say, if Josh Allen delivers what he delivered last year, he can go work out on Mars for all we care.
No, without a doubt. And Josh Allen even said it himself. The Miller Electric Center, it has everything that you need there as well. So I think he said he will spend some time there training as well and being around his teammates. So I just think some guys like to get out a little bit, be on their own, do their own thing, and more power to you because, once again, when you're Josh Allen, you've earned that right to do that.
Let's go down to Jaguars headquarters right now and bring in Action Sports Shaq Stewart Weber. He is covering the day for us. I'm going to have to ask them, Weber, a little bit about moving these times. Is training camp going to be like this too? Because we got a show 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. If I miss every Jag session, I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
Yeah, neither are we. We don't like that either, by the way. Maybe they should have consulted with you on the timing of these things. Now, today I think they found maybe a perfect window with the weather where it was drizzling a little bit when I came in, but they're practicing outside. The music's starting to blare out there. We're going to bring you some live pictures, as they say, from in there in just a bit. But just got out of the session with head coach Doug Peterson and defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, getting their thoughts as we get ready for these OTAs, off-season training activities, here at the MEC. So we're excited to see some players out there.
All right, let's go with some bullet points here, okay? Let's start with joint practices with the Tampa Bay Bucks. No surprise there. Did Doug elaborate why they would do that with the Bucks, or did it just work out organizationally?
I think it just worked out organization. He didn't really get into the specifics on why that was the team and the week that they were doing it. But I think it's really cool, and you and I know this from experience, just being able to host a team for joint practices. We've been to some pretty awesome facilities now over the past few years and seen these different squads hosting the Jaguars. Well, now with the Miller Electric Center, this fantastic new facility here in Jacksonville right next to the stadium, the team has all this space. They have the indoor facility. They have plenty of fields outdoors, the stands as well for the fans. So this is a great venue to host another NFL team and to showcase what the Jaguars have built when it comes to this new facility.
Stuart, have the authorities been alerted because there seems to be a missing depth chart going on right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I have been told there is no depth chart this time of year, which, you can take that for coach speak if you'd like. I will. Certainly you will. That's the mentality, right? There's a depth chart. It's somewhere inside those offices. They have it written down. It's on a whiteboard maybe that we're not allowed to see. There's a depth chart. Let's be honest. But you know what? For all intents and purposes, let's go ahead and say there's no depth chart and everybody is battling. And you know what? C.J. Beathard and Mac Jones coming after Trevor.
Very good.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Kind of forget C.J. Beathard's still on the roster, by the way.
Good point. That's a good point.
Stuart Weber joined us from Jags headquarters. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to get in there in a bit, although I think open sessions are until periods 4, 5, and 6, you mentioned. So we do probably have a little time. Trevor Lawrence contract. I think the conversation about it, Stuart, is interesting. Nobody's hiding from a microphone. Nobody's being very evasive when it comes to this conversation. Trevor didn't. Balky hasn't. And now Doug Peterson today. All feelings are this thing is going to get done by the time they kick off in September, maybe even by the time they report back by July training camp.
I think the biggest surprise of those three is Doug Peterson, simply because obviously Trent and Trevor are the two parties involved in this thing and getting it done, right? If you're Doug Peterson, you can just as easily get up to that podium and say, yep, I'm the head coach. I don't worry about contracts. Next question. He didn't do that. Yeah. He certainly spoke at length a little bit just about what it means to have that out of the way and not lingering above you. And he said, it's going to get done. So it's going to get done. That's what we got to go with, right? Certainly an interesting to see Doug Peterson going into that, just because of the fact that he really just as easily could have not, especially for OTA number 1. Now, if we're asking him at, training camp number 1, then he probably has to give a little better answer. It's May. He could just as easily brush that off and say, you know what, let the front office handle this stuff right now. I want to talk a little football.
Yeah, I think there's some significance to that, too. And maybe we're reading into it, but I agree with you on all those fronts. I think the transparency there is very interesting when it comes to the Jaguars. All right, Gabe Davis not there. He just had a baby, and so he's obviously excused. I'm not sure if we'll see him this week. We plan to catch up where you do with Christian Kirk today. I think the receiving core is very interesting. I think Kirk's an interesting but almost forgotten piece of this offense at times. He got injured last year. It fell apart when he got injured. He now has a whole new receiving core. Yeah, him and Evan Ingram, but now you add in Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. I think there's probably a lot on the plate of Christian Kirk, Stuart, to make sure everybody acclimates well and everyone gets on the same page. I would put Trevor in that category too. It's really his job to make sure that's pretty cohesive.
Totally jinxed myself, by the way, on us avoiding the weather as I'm getting rained on now. But I will say the interesting thing for me with Christian Kirk, you remember when that bumper is falling off of that car. What is going on with that? Remember when they made that contract with
pan over? What are you talking about? You can't tease that.
He can't do it all.
It's just me. I can't do it all, man.
I'm sorry. I thought someone was holding the camera. It's professionally done.
I know it's because I did it. But with Christian Kirk, remember when that contract came out and everyone was like, oh yeah, they'll just get those first 2 years of the contract and then off he goes, and he's not going to be able to earn all that money on this contract. Well, he certainly has proven it here with the first couple years of this contract for himself, and he has proven to be such an important part of that offense. So very important to have him back fully healthy for the start of the fall. So it'll be cool to chat with him in a little bit. Plus he got married, so that's a fun off-season note for him. We'll talk about all those things and bring that to you on Action Sports Jacks.
All right, man, go get away from the rain, get the camera out of there, and go fix that bumper. I appreciate you jumping in.
He's affixing it. He's affixing it now. He's working on it. One of the workers from here at the Neck, just getting that thing all fixed up
as you get away. All right, we'll catch up with you in a bit.
To the guy.
Okay, all right, guys. That's very nice. That's unlike Weber. I thought he would do that to the guy.
Put him on the spot.
By the way, nice Dream 18 shirt. We got it too. Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Save the date, September 16th. It's the Monday after the Jags hopefully beat the Browns at the golf club in Southampton, and we'll have registration open in a couple months. But I want to stay on that part. We're thinking, here's how this works for us. We're allowed to request a player. Okay. And so I'm kind of there's all over the place. You got freaking so many guys, right? I mean, the draft class I feel like we just talked to.
Sure.
There was Eric Armstead. You can go in a lot of different ways. But I was thinking we were going to either go Gabe Davis or Christian Kirk to start. Mm-hmm. And Kirk to me is actually a little bit more interesting because, again, I mean, this fell apart at the same time as Kirk went down. That first series against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Jags actually performed very well that day on offense, but and in a couple other games too in the next few weeks. But overall, something was amiss. And I don't know how much of that had to do with Kirk. I do think some of that had to do with Trevor and trust factor, because you lose a guy like that. I think you really trust him, Austin. I mean, I think that's the guy. Evan Ingram, too, and Zay Jones as well. But I think that's the guy. He knows where he's going to be so good IQ-wise. He's such a good pro. As part of the reason the Jags paid him to bring him over here is to get this kind of culture in. And it wasn't just drafting Trevor. The culture in place, I think, had a lot to do with guys like Christian Kirk, and now we continue to see it with Eric Armstead. You bring those kind of players in here to kind of be pros and show the young guys what it looks like. Well, this is his room, right? I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. hopefully is a stud, and Gabe Davis is a good football player. But this is Christian Kirk's room, and there's no question about it. Marvin Jones isn't here. Calvin Ridley isn't here. Zay Jones isn't here. This is Christian Kirk's room, and he's a significant part of that offense.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a slot receiver, I think we've talked about all the time on this show. There's a couple friends that a quarterback can have, in terms of trust. A tight end's one of them. I think Evan Ingram, you saw that last year with his reception totals, especially when Christian Kirk went down. And also is the slot receiver, where when they moved Christian Kirk to the slot, he really came into his own and had some of his best numbers ever. So, yeah, when Kirk went down, you could definitely see the trust factor was lacking then of who else do you go to. Because Calvin Ridley, you were still kind of building that rapport a little bit, it seemed like, and you didn't have Zay Jones as well. So it kind of put Trevor in a tough predicament. I mean, thankfully you did have Evan Ingram, who was pretty dependable. And I think what was the last game of the season when the ball went off his hands, interception, against Titans. But overall, I mean, Evan Ingram turned out to be that guy. But you have Kirk coming back now healthy. We'll see how Gabe Davis fits in this whole thing. And then obviously Brian Thomas Jr. as well. I mean, you have a lot of things to like in terms of, number one, receivers and tight ends that if it goes to hell a little bit, you can depend on, hey, I know where you're going to be at. But also now you should have some big name players as well, and Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis to kind of take the top off a little more too. So you have a little bit of everything. But yes, I do agree that Christian Kirk is going to be the backbone. He's going to be the constant in how this whole wide receiving core is going to operate. Hey, Kim, I don't know how quick you can set it up. I think Stewart's still listening. He's already inside. He got away from at least that part of the rain and the bumper guy, and has made himself inside and might be able to give us a live look at OTA number 1. Only a couple of these kind of – the way it works is just some of the periods are open to the media to be able to get video of. And so I think this one is. So there you go. There's a live look at the Mech and the Jags kind of getting some early work on the field. It's interesting. This is phase 3, I believe they call it. And so they've been on the field a little bit. It's kind of the first time we're getting our look at the whole team on the field. And when I say whole team, Josh Allen's in Arizona. Gabe Davis just had a kid. And so it's not everybody. But there's the guy, and there's that quarterback room. Mac Jones out there with C.J. Beathard and Trevor Lawrence in the rain in Jacksonville Jags headquarters. And what's significant about that picture right there? The last time we saw Trevor Lawrence really on a football field here at Miller Electric Center, he's got braces all over his body. He's all bandaged up. I mean, he looks clean and healthy, which he told us he was, but it took a while for him to get healthy, and now Trevor's healthy again. What I'm very curious to see, too, with Mac Jones, keep in mind, Mac Jones, when it rains, has never really been throwing the ball when he came from the Patriots. It was more of just handing the ball off the entire time. So I'm very curious to see how Mac Jones is going to handle actually throwing balls in the rain now, because obviously Bill Belichick wouldn't allow him to do that. He looks pretty natural. Not bad. He's got the glove on. Not bad. He's like, I got it. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill, eat your heart out. She should have turned me loose a little more, running it 60 times against the Buffalo Bills. I think that was more screw you, Austin. I mean, I'd be more than hand off in the rain, pal. Well, hey, I didn't say he couldn't do that. Obviously, Bill Belichick said he couldn't do that. Did you watch the games? I did. Trevor Lawrence, you wonder what guys like Trevor work on in the offseason. And as Stewart shows us a little bit of the big guys, too, and there's Brian Thomas Jr. Getting loose and ready to go today. What does a guy like Trevor, do you think, need to work? Everybody works on their craft a little bit. You take a break, you get healthy. There's still some of that. But these guys all have their own quarterback gurus and things, and I don't think he needs to be like a topic of discussion like it was with Blake. Like Blake would go out to California. It's like, okay, shorten that release, try to get the motion better, all these different things. We don't talk about that very often with Trevor Lawrence, right? But he's got to be still working on what? I mean, I think ball security would be the top thing. And, it's hard to simulate that. You're not going to have guys just chase you down and try to knock the ball out of your hands for the entire summer. But I just think, watching the film a little more, dissecting it, having that internal clock be a little better. But that's probably the biggest thing I would say. And I'm not sure you bring in a new receiver, so it's hard to get a rapport right away. But I'm sure him and Christian Kirk have hung out a little bit, maybe throwing the ball around, toss the pigskin around Brett Favre style with his Lee jeans or whatever. So, I just think building that rapport. My bad, Wrangler. Right. So, hey, man, Wrangler, sorry. But I just think that building that rapport with the receivers is probably the biggest thing he has to do going forward. Well, there you see receivers. I think these two guys right here can be forgotten about with all the newness that goes on. And that is Evan Ingram coming off an unbelievable season. He's been so good
for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then Christian Kirk, of course, we were just talking about. I mean, these two guys are his staples. Trevor Lawrence's staples. The guys they trust the most. Which, by the way, there's so much significance to keeping them healthy, too. They've got to stay healthy. And Evan Ingram is, if he has another year, I'm not saying he's going to catch 100. I don't think there's enough footballs for 100. But if he has another 75, 80, 85 catch season, man, I mean, holy cow. What a career in Jacksonville it's turned out to be.
No, without a doubt. I mean, really a resurgence, if you will. It'd be a good story to tell. And once again, a guy that I think when he came here was a little question of what he could actually do for this team. And obviously he's achieved and exceeded all expectations.
There's Jags OTA number 1, Trevor and
I mean,
Mac
this is
Jones.
great, man. I can sit here and watch this all day.
Yeah, I wonder what you say as we see Doug Peterson, of course. What do you watch in these? Like when you go out to camp, you see it from a different lens. I always say there's so much going on. Like when we get to camp time, people be like, hey, did you see this? Did you see this? Like, well, I don't know. You go in there, you got to have a plan. You can't watch 15 different things. Like you just can't. So, like you might see something that I don't see, and that's just the way it works. That's why we have a lot of media out there. And if you follow everybody, then you can pick something up maybe from somebody different. Then there are things that we all see at the same time.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure what this drill even is, right? You just kind of practice like tackling this ball. Yeah, all right, Trevor, I see you. Ball security right there. But yeah, the wide receivers were like kind of like tucking it and going down to the ground a little bit, maybe making some business decisions, not wanting them to go through a tackle. But if you're asking me what I'm watching, I mean, obviously me being on the defensive side of the ball, that's where I primarily go. And obviously when you're not wearing pads, it's hard to gauge exactly what these guys can bring to the table. But technique's a big thing, and I broke this down a couple years ago when Kayvon Chason was a rookie. You know, I said that he had great get-off, but when you put him next to Josh Allen in terms of it was a spin move I was breaking down and dissecting. And it was literally just one little hitch step kind of affected what his spin looked like compared to Josh Allen, who was very sound in terms of his technique. And, you know, it's those little finite details that as an edge rusher where if you get those things down, you can be successful. If you can't get those things down, you know, maybe we're talking about a 1 or 2 sack season and obviously talking about him not being here anymore. So to me, you could start to see the details a little bit of what these guys can bring to the table and what they have to work on.
Yeah, and as we watch handoffs, I'm going to get into the running backs in just a moment, but just back to, you saw Trayvon Walker. Also, number 94 there is Mason Smith. He is a big guy. I mean, it's there is that when you notice when you go out there and you're like, holy cats, man, that guy is a big dude. And I think we're all going to say that initially on number 94. I mean, he is... The Jags look good. There's a nice job by Weber to get him. I mean, look at him move, too, at that size. I mean, he's fun. He's fun to get excited about. That's a player, again, that if healthy, we are going to inflate going into the year. If he makes it to September and he's feeling good and looking good and healthy, he's a guy that I think is just going to jump in camp and we're going to get all excited about and probably too excited about because it's a difference between performing once you get in between the lines and on Sundays. But it's hard not to get excited about the way the Jags look, the athletes the Jags have when they get off the bus.
Yeah, I mean, obviously size is a big thing in terms of physicality and being able to stop the run, especially in the defensive interior. And this was an issue last year, and it was addressed in the draft. So, yeah, I'm excited to see these big bodies. Now, can these big bodies move? Can these big bodies play and be productive? Time will tell. But, listen, you can't teach the size of Mason Smith. You can't teach, the athleticism of Mason Smith. Now, can they put it together with Ryan Nielsen? Can he get the best out of Mason Smith? And we'll see.
I think people forget, by the way, 96, Adam Gotts is still on this team. He's done a nice job in his career here. Not a headline guy, but he's done a nice job. Back to where we're looking at, I think we're going to take a look at some receivers doing stuff, Parker Washington, and it's okay. Weber doesn't have to get us back to the running backs. One of the messages out of today was Doug Peterson saying, hey, we got to keep ETN fresh. We need Tank Bigsby to do more, to evolve, to continue to get better. And we need ETN to continue to evolve and get better as well. So it's going to be an interesting balance because if they do get more out of Bigsby, they keep ETN even more fresh. I think he's as dangerous as they come. I love ETN. I think he's underrated. I think his career so far the last couple of years has been terrific. They feel like he's even got more in him. And I think Bigsby can help even get more in him because there's a bunch of things going on. ETN can have another really nice year. He can lead the way. He can be the explosive guy. He's got to be the main guy. But if Bigsby starts to emerge a little bit, now you've got the 1-2 punch. You've got a little bit different style. You've got a goal line guy hopefully delivering around the end zone. And it also makes that draft class a little longer last year
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go with Bigsby here, a lot of impact that he can make in a bunch of different narratives, storylines, and actual play.
No, I think if the NFL has showed us anything, it's that when you have these fast twitch, explosive running back types, you don't want to make them the bell cow and give them, 25, 30 carries a game. It's just you can't hold up. Even like Bijan Robinson last year was supposed to be this bell cow, and yeah, he had a great rookie year. He showcased a lot of skills, but once again, he got kind of worn down a little bit just because of taking all these hits. There's not a lot of Derrick Henrys to go around where you can give the guy the ball 30 times and you're confident, okay, we'll see you next week again, and you can do the same thing. So I do want to see, obviously, Tank Bigsby take that next step forward. He has to. There has to be a guy to help lighten the load a little bit of a Travis Etienne. I mean, I always compare it to what Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara were able to do in New Orleans. Once Ingram left and it was the Alvin Kamara show, still a great running back with all due respect, but he kind of faltered a little bit because he is getting so much more of the workload now, and that does take a toll on your body. So, yes, if Tank Bigsby can come in and give you 12 to 15 carries, and then you can obviously supplement that with the explosiveness of Travis Etienne, well, now you're cooking. Now you have something, because anytime you can get different looks from the backfield, the better.
Yeah, this is everyone's favorite part, a little pitch and catch out at practice and Jags OTAs as the quarterbacks are throwing to the wide receivers. And Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously in action here for the Jags. Gabe Davis, once again, if you're just jumping in, had a baby over the weekend, so he's not at the OTAs, but Christian Kirk back and healthy. Evan Ingram obviously doing his thing. And we'll
see that throw. Ooh,
there
that's a nice connection.
Thomas Jr.
Tell you what, that was a $56 million a year throw right there if I saw one.
That was the 23rd overall catch.
That was effortless right there.
That was
Trevor.
to the house it was going to be.
Oh, I was done. Yep. I'm kind of I'm noticing something that I'm a little surprised by here. I mean, once again, it's OTAs. I'm going to take two into account in it. But in the past, when we had like Jack Del Rio and company, and I think Malarkey kind of fell in this label too, we always had a tape. You had to have your ankles taped, had to have your wrists taped. Like, you had to treat it like it was a game, essentially. And I don't see that here.
Huh.
I mean, a little side note.
Oh, that's interesting. I would never notice that.
Yeah. Because, I don't see guys with, like, tape or anything on the wrists.
Why would that be?
I mean, once again, I just think that liability for injuries, I think that was Jack's thing, but also, like, he wanted to simulate, like, you're in a game. And obviously, if you get your ankles taped in the game, you got to get them in practice
That's
as well.
something I've never really looked at much, but now I will.
Yeah, and we have Spat here, yeah. So there's Trevor. That's Trevor, I think?
That's Mac. Yeah.
It's Mac, okay.
Those look like Mac's legs.
Those are some Mac calves. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sure if I don't think he might be having a light
again, it's
job,
noteworthy to me that the last time we saw him on a practice field, which we didn't even see him practice fully the last 3 weeks of the year. I mean, he had that tape. I mean, we're all over it.
Yeah.
We had taped up ankles. We had braces on the legs. I mean, there was a lot going on with Trevor at the time, and it is good to see him healthy. All right, let's free up Stuart Weber. Appreciate him taking a live look over there. And
that was great, Stuart. Thank you.
Really good stuff from Weber to kind of get a peek in at Jaguars OTAs. Only a couple of those sessions are open, but get you kind of excited about the Jags. I'm not going to lie. And I don't get overly excited about this time of year. I've been covering this for 25 years. But there is something that gets you excited about seeing Trevor Lawrence on the field. Like, I think he gives you that. I think there's something, I mean, again, not to over-dramatize. I'm just saying, first of all, it's kind of like hey, they're back, or, hey, it's good to, we haven't seen that in months. We love football, right? But I do think there's a little bit of when you see that guy, and I know we joke about this, when you hear from him, he kind of instills hope. He represents hope in a lot of different ways, I think, to this organization, to this city, to this fan base. You can have your criticisms. You can debate how good, bad, whatever. I'm just saying a healthy Trevor Lawrence gives you a chance. And I think you feel that. I even kind of sensed that when I saw him when Stuart went to Trevor. It's like, all right, there's the guy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what the Jags are hoping. I think Josh now does that on the defensive side. I look at guys like Ingram and Kirk, and I'm like, those are the guys to me that validate what we talk about on a daily basis, that, hey, this team could be pretty good. Like, those are the guys. And by the way, I do say the same about Doug Peterson. I'm a big fan of Doug. I think he's a really good coach. So it's nice to see those guys out on the field, even though we're still months away from it really mattering on Sundays. All right, let's take a break. Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. That was very fun to be able to take you into an OTA session. And once again, appreciate Stuart Weber for the report, and then hustling inside to do that. Looked like the rain is, if it's happening, it's just a light rain at the time and not impacting those guys out on the field. Once again, we'll have Jaguars, one of the Jaguars on the stream. We just did that, but we'll have the Jacksonville Armada. The women's team will make its debut on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network coming up on Saturday. That's a 5 o'clock game, by the way. ActionNewsJacks.com, the Action News Jacks app, and coverage will begin at 4:30 with Stuart Weber as well. Jacksonville Armada win the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
On Saturday, the Jacksonville Armada FC men's U23s opened their home schedule, and they did it in style with an 8-0 thrashing of Global Soccer Pathways. Leading the way for the Fleet was newcomer Oliver Moeller-Jensen, scoring the first 2 goals on the evening and completing the hat trick in the first minute of the second half. The boys in blue will be right back on the field at Southern Oak Stadium on Saturday night at 7 p.m., hosting Naples United FC with a live broadcast on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. The Armada women's team is making its debut at the same time as they hit the road to FC Prime in Fort Lauderdale. Head coach David Goff's squad will be home the following week on Saturday, May 25th at 5 p.m., also on the campus of Jacksonville University. Tickets for both the men's and women's teams are available at JacksonvilleArmada.com, with free attendance all summer for those who make a season ticket reservation for the MLS Next Pro debut in 2025.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step 1. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town, and I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
What's this one? Oh, this is Charlton County. They will play today against Lanier County. That was one we were telling you about earlier, that school is out. School is canceled. Love it. So they can go watch that one. And Charlton County trying to go back-to-back in the state of Georgia for state championships. Good luck to the Indians. 2-2 game in the fifth now. A couple of sack flies for St. John's Country Day. They only have one hit in the game so far, but they'll be coming up soon in the bottom of the fifth. And still right there in the mix to win a state semifinal game. Again, Trinity Christian goes tomorrow. On the girls' side, Baker County plays Wednesday. UC and Baldwin play tomorrow. There's a chance Wednesday 3 teams could play from the area, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If that is the case, I might be over there and bring the show on the road to Claremont for some of that state softball series. We will keep you posted. We're at Furniture Source, by the way, in the town center on Thursday, so come on over. Hang out with us on the recliners.
Let's go.
That's a good place to be. And on Friday, we will be at Best Bet Jacksonville. We're always hanging out at Best Bet St. Augustine, but for this weekend and this show on Friday, we'll be at Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road. So there's an update for what we're doing with the shows on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. It was like a week ago now you were at Welcome to Rockville, right? That wasn't this weekend.
No, this is this past weekend. Yeah, not. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 weekends
So
ago.
2 weekends ago, but yeah, correct.
Was it? I don't think I asked you about the Sunday nighter. Was it good?
Oh yeah, man, got in a mosh pit.
We did talk a little mosh pit.
Yeah.
That was Limp Bizkit, right?
Casey was here. Well, no, the mosh pit was more Slipknot on Sunday, but the Limp Bizkit was a little more. It was still in your face, but Slipknot was a different story, man. Slipknot was just craziness. Yeah, I mean, I didn't venture out trying to get into a mosh pit and push people around and throw some bows and everything, but I was a product of my environment that night, man, and everybody around me was getting into it. So I'm like, all right, well, let's get in the mix then. And I told the story to Casey. There was a guy my age, or maybe a little older, kind of hard to tell, who was on all the steroids, all the juice. Okay, he was like Latimer from the program. Have you ever seen the program? Kim, program fan? Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, I just assumed that I was right. But basically the program, great college football movie, Latimer, guy that was juiced up. That's who I was dealing with in the mosh pit. And he kept on saying, dude, you got to come out. Let's go. This is Slipknot. What are you standing around for? I'm just like, hey, I'm going to listen to him my way, and you can listen to him your way. He's like, whatever, man. And then finally it got to the point where, one of the songs came on. I'm like, I'm feeling this. So let me get in the mix, start pushing people around. And then he came out and said, that's what I've been waiting from you all night. That's what we've been waiting for. Like he's a high school football coach, man, trying to bring out the best of me. So that was interesting, but still a great time. And that's the beauty of it. Once again, I'm 36 years old, man. I'm not trying to get in mosh pits and get with the kids, but it is a beautiful thing, though, when people still follow the unwritten rules of a mosh pit. Someone goes down, you help them back up. If someone's small in there, you make sure that, they have enough area to do their thing as well. And you don't be mean to them. So it's just, there's a lot of unwritten rules that were followed. And I'm going to say, crowd surfers, you got to stop being on your cell phones, because that I got hit in the back of the head 3 times from crowd surfers.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I'm going to kind of stick out, Brent.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's
it's
easy
happen for you to get hit.
Yeah.
Are you on the summer circuit at all?
on the summer circuit
of concerts?
Oh yeah, I mean, if anything good comes down the pipe, I'll definitely check it
Did
out.
you have anything like on the radar?
Nothing really on the radar. I think Alanis. This is more, I think, in the fall. Alanis Morissette's doing a tour. I'm trying to see.
Really?
Yeah, man, I like Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I grew up on her, man.
Yeah.
So that'd be a cool thing to see.
Um,
What about you, man?
no, I don't. Well, I mean, we
Gonna
went
be
to the,
did you go to George Strait? Did you go to Mosh Pit?
no, we went to Luke Combs. I don't
Mosh
think I
Pit's
have
there?
any concerts. We're going on this big trip this summer, and I was looking to see if any concerts would be there that I'd be interested in, but none kind of matched up
Okay.
to kind of hit the music side of things. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What was the last concert that you were like super geeked up about?
I mean, last concert that I was
Because like I wasn't that
super
way about
geek-
Luke Combs. Like Luke Combs. is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. That's a great question. I mean, I'm a big Avery Brothers fan.
Yeah, you are.
So they're coming to town too in November around
they?
my birthday. So I
They're
think
going
me
to
and
St. Augustine? Or?
Yes, St. Augustine. Yeah, yeah. So probably I'll be jacked up for that one.
Everybody
They just
said,
had a
like,
new
I've
album come
listened to
out.
some Avett Brothers, and a lot of, I remember when I was talking, used to talk about Zach Brown Band a bunch, and people be like, well, you'd like the Avett Brothers. Too.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, I never fully got into it, but I've listened to them. So that'd probably be a pretty good show to go to. Now.
Yeah, man, because like the cool thing about them, they have so many songs and tracks that every concert's gonna be different. Like, I mean, it can be like night and day different.
One of the what I keep hearing about, and we've been to some Zach Brown Band, he loves doing covers, which I understand, like, the that's fun for the artist,
Yeah.
but it's less fun for the consumer, the customer. Like, I don't. Like, I get it. They're really talented. Like, it is fun. It's okay, but, like, one or two is fine.
Yeah.
They like to do a bunch of them, Zach Brown Band,
Yeah.
which probably just keeps it fresh. I get it.
Of course, yeah.
But I want to. They have to your point. They have so many songs. Like, there's so many songs you want to listen to that you like.
Exactly.
Nice happy medium there. I think we're going to go head back out, Kim, if we can. Kim Corner, cue up that practice video. Jaguars out there on OTAs, and Stuart Weber giving us a sneak peek throughout the show, or at least in the last half hour or so. And here he is back at it again as we take a look at the defensive side of things. Oh, this has been a talker, hasn't it? The secondary.
Yep.
And what that secondary will look like, and who's going to be out there. No depth chart. I actually think the Jags have a pretty good depth chart in the secondary. What we're trying to figure out is who's going to emerge as the frontline guys in the secondary. That's really the storyline for me.
Okay, so I told this
Jerry and Jones
is this
right
the
there?
two? Okay, so it's defense on defense right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. They're doing something.
Yeah. I mean,
Daniel Thomas, by the way.
Okay, so
Jags have a lot of safe. I like the safety.
who's 27, by the way? Jim, the long name.
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
He has some length to him, though, Brent. You like that?
Yeah, there is some length there.
Once again, I can't
is
believe
Jones wearing
wrists
number
aren't
6?
taped.
Is that Jerry Jones that Stewart's showing us? Maybe not.
Is Savage number 6? I don't know.
I gotta see it.
We'll find out. We'll
I
have to
can't
get
remember all the numbers that came out.
respectable.
I could just look it up.
Yeah, you could, man. What's the fun in that, Brent?
Buster Brown.
You really hope that he has the name alone.
Yeah, but I mean, I like Buster Brown.
Give me that
Again,
Buster
I think a
Brown.
guy like Buster Brown is way. Like, I'm okay with him more than other people are. There's Antonio Johnson.
A lot of J's. Johnson, Jones, and Johnson.
And Jones is 22 right there. That's Jerry and Jones out of Florida State. So he's wearing 22. So, but to your point, I like some of these guys that I think people have given up on already. And I'm not telling you they're frontline guys. It might be fine just to be depth guys. I think we've seen some things out of them. They really like, over the last couple of years, Gregory Jr. Now, I don't know if I've seen enough about a Gregory Jr., but like, I'm okay with these guys because they've been around it. They've played in it. You hope to develop it. Now, it's a new system, and we'll see how that weeds out. I mean, the players that they've had the last couple of years, they still have to be able to fit in this style for Ryan Nielsen, right? I mean, that's going to be a key part of it.
I think right there, I mean, once again, I'm not sure what that drill exactly, if they're rotating or not, like switching off, but it looked like Jerry and Jones taking a slot from the nickel spot, taking it from the slot.
Yeah.
It's the big question mark going into this whole camp is, where do you put him at? I mean, Mike Norvell was on our show a couple weeks ago saying how, the guy is great at nickel, and I think we ought to agree there. That's probably more his natural position, but do they try to put him on the outside and make him a number 2 as well?
Yeah, Kim, we got to come back to us because now that practice session is closed, so we get a look at what just transpired a little bit as we get you in to see some of the practice with Stuart Weber at OTA number 1, a little look at the secondary of the Jaguars defense. And again, I'm intrigued by the secondary. I'm intrigued by the safeties. I'm intrigued by the, versatility of their defense in that backside. And also how they use the versatility of their players in the front 7. Because I still think it's a bit of a mystery how they're going to shake things up along that front line. That's probably the way they want it. What will they do with the Roy Robertson Harris's? How much can they move him around? Eric Armstead, how much can they move him around? Then you go back to the linebacker spot. We had a conversation about Devin Lloyd last week. I think he's an interesting piece here. Is there enough pass rush is the overall question. Like, to me, that's the biggest question on defense. Is there enough depth at pass rush? Even more so than who will emerge at the secondary and be the starters. That's a big question. But I know they have guys. Like, I'm not sure they have enough guys on that pass rush unless they start playing with other combinations, which would include a guy like Devin Lloyd and put him in a spot to do that. And then I'm like, oh, okay. If you're starting to tell me, hey, Devin Lloyd's going to move up and pass rush a little bit more, which they've kind of indicated, I'm like, okay, I feel better about that. Still want to see it. We haven't seen it at this level.
Well, yeah, we have to see it at this level because it's one thing to rush the passer and blitz and everything in college, but in the NFL, it's definitely a different game. So the fact that he's kind of been regulated to playing more of a traditional linebacker, drop back into coverage, diagnose kind of role for the first part of his career makes you a little nervous, but once again, if Ryan Nielsen can turn him loose and say, hey, man, do what you do best, and he can kind of take to that, then I think you have something there.
Yeah, we talked about Tank Bigsby earlier, and I think he's a big, like an underdog, not an underdog, kind of an undertold big part of the equation because I think his impact on others, and you can go a lot of different ways. Pick your favorite person. But I do think Lloyd kind of fits that to me on the defensive side. If there's a domino effect of a guy and his play and what you think you can get, what you hope you get, his versatility, how you're used, and the impact on others and some of the question marks we might have that could get answered. I think he's kind of that guy on that side of it going into year 3, where I think Bigsby could be that guy on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, I mean, you took them both pretty high, and obviously you want to see that return on that investment. So, yeah, I agree with you where I think of, the best of Lloyd is still yet to be seen. But if you set him up for success, I mean, we mentioned this last week a little bit, but it's the Miles Jack effect. Miles Jack played his best football when he was off the ball, weak side, using him as athleticism. For whatever reason, they decided, hey, well, you know what? I mean, you're good off the ball, but let's go ahead and put the green dot on you. Puzz is gone now. You're calling the plays a lot more on your play. You're playing middle linebacker now. And it wasn't the best version of Miles Jack. So, yeah, I think you can see a game changer if Lloyd can take to this new position. But once again, he's got to be coached properly, and it has to be the right scheme for him to fall in line. But I'm more excited for him to do that than what I've seen the past couple of years of what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I think Lloyd and Bigsby are fun guys to keep an eye on with the upside that they have. There's more. There are other guys. There's draft picks. There's a bunch of ways to go here, but that's what's fun about this time of year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, we got to peek in the last 45 minutes or so to a couple of different parts of practice. You can always go back and check it out on YouTube and on Twitter and Twitch and Facebook and when the show replays here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. But it was about 5 minutes prior to hour number 2, and we've shown you a bit now over the last 45 minutes thanks to Stuart Weber. Stuart also had a report from Jags headquarters. So OTA number 1, a very successful one here on the Brent Austen Show, and still we'll hear from Christian Kirk most likely later tonight in the TV side of things, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Let's do this. Take a time out. We're a little bit behind Brent Austen Show here on a Monday, and what else is happening in the sports world outside of football? Well, the NBA is down to the Final Four. Do we like it? Are the Celtics going to blow everybody away? Can the Timberwolves do what they did to Denver, to Luka, and then maybe to the Celtics? Are they the sneaky team to beat based on style of play that Austin brought up a couple of weeks ago? We'll have some NBA chatter and a little bit more from around the sports world. Don't forget on Wednesday, Miller and Moulton start us off, and then Brent and Austin Show and Cup Date with Stuart Weber. He's had a lot to talk about lately. A week with Action Sports Jacks at 1:30 with Olivia Tassley, and at 2 o'clock, No Gate Fees presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. It will be our final episode of 2023. 2024, and will we be celebrating a couple of state championships? We sure hope so, and we'll take you there on Wednesday. That's part of the Wednesday lineup each and every week here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids.
Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains, and no payments for 90 days.
Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out GWOutdoorLiving.com for your free estimate.
It's the fishing tournament everyone wants to get in, and it's time for you to register. More than 650 boats entered last summer in the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. Mark the calendar now, June 8th. This is fun for the entire family, and everyone has a chance to win big. Limited boundaries, no bait buying, no checkout. Cash prizes for the top 25 places, cash prizes for the top 10 lady anglers, and prizes for the top 15 junior anglers. The grand prize, this Yellowfin Bay boat with a 200 horsepower Yamaha and a Ameritrail trailer. The value, over $100,000. It's the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout. Early entry until the end of May is open and $250. If you don't catch the big one, don't worry. Just catch any size kingfish and have a chance to win $10,000 with the Nimnicht Lucky Ticket. OldSchoolKingfish.com. Register early until May 31st at OldSchoolKingfish.com.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martinos get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, so look at the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund dinner last night. They got the golf tournament going out there right now, actually, at TPC Sawgrass, hopefully dodging some of the raindrops, but a lot of guests in town to raise money to battle or for families battling childhood cancer. Be there is their motto. They have a new award given out to Judy Coughlin, the late wife of Tom Coughlin. Be the Light Award, it's called. There you see Tony Boselli there. We'll hear from Tony Boselli. LeRoy Butler was there. Troy Aikman was there. Chris Berman. They always have a nice guest list. Doug Flutie. I saw Ed Werder there. They gave a nice tribute, by the way, to Chris Mortensen, the late Chris Mortensen, who always supported this event. And recently passed away due to cancer here in 2024. So nice event out there. And Tom Coughlin talking about the stadium and going into the pride of the Jaguars. And he had some interesting comments. I thought his excitement level caught my attention. Maybe it will catch yours coming up in just a couple of moments. But the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund, very much a part of the kind of fabric of the community now and what they've done. And I saw the total up in New York and New Jersey, the metropolitan area, because they've brought that up there too, of course, with his ties to the Giants. And $25 million now has been raised to help families battling childhood cancer. And over 5,000 families have been helped out, which is pretty amazing, actually. We got an interview with a family that has been impacted by the Jay Fund. And right before we were doing the interview with this family, and they were obviously had a tough year. Their son, Tavon Jr., who was battling cancer, but they had just had a really nice moment in the last week. He rang the bell, which is always a significant moment for anyone battling cancer. Well, right before our interview, his oncologist, his doctor, ran into him, and they saw each other. It was such a nice moment. It was It was very just a real life moment, you know. And seeing what they were doing in that very building to raise money to help families like Tavon's, and now see at least this next step in the journey. So that's like the real life stuff happening with the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund. So hats off to everybody there. It's always a fantastic night, fantastic couple of days, and have the wine gala and different events throughout the year. So as we welcome you back to the Brent and Austen Show, give you an update, by the way, I want to do before we hit to our Tom Coughlin interview. It is 2-2 now in the top of the sixth. Runners on the corners for Northside Christian. And we'll see if we get an update. But it's getting late in the game, tied at 2 now in that semifinal game in Class 2A featuring St. John's Country Day, obviously from our area. Trinity Christian plays tomorrow. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Kim Corner took you to OTAs. Obviously, a lot of NFL talk and Jags talk as we get going on OTA 2024. We'll get to some NBA talk because I have a question or two about especially Anthony Edwards and the kind of the swag factor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. But before we do that, let's catch up with Tom Coughlin about the Jay Fund, about his late wife Judy and the new award, and also about the stadium and going into the pride of the Jaguars. Here's my conversation with Tom Coughlin last night.
Well, I know you know a lot of folks in the NFL. I know you have a lot of friends, but look at all the people that show up each and every year, huh?
Well, that's the wonderful part of it. You know what it is, though? It's the mission. It's not me. It's when they stop and think about what the Jay Fund does, what we're trying to do, what we've accomplished over a 29-year period. I think that's what motivates them the most. But they become really good friends. They enjoy this. The thing that's important for me is that our celebrity guests are good people in that all our fans, those that participate, that are here tonight, they can sit at a table and talk to these people. They can share stories. They can listen to the Chris Bermans and so on and so forth. And people they've watched on television for all these years are right here with them. And that's what makes it so touching to me to have them here in support of the Jay Fund.
Doesn't this kind of check so many boxes? You're helping people in the community, but you're keeping memories alive, obviously, and among fellowship, too, and golf and fun times, but it hits people and stays with them, it seems.
Well, I think it does, and that's why they come back. Because let's face it, it's a beautiful, beautiful course. It's a beautiful building. You know, the tour's been so good to us. The players have been so good to us. To be here, to take advantage of this great facility, and to have people come and share. Who doesn't want to play this course? Who doesn't want to be on this magnificent course? So, yeah, that part of it. But nobody forgets why they're really here. They're really here for these kids and their families. And when they look at the videos and they allow this to become a part of their emotion, their feelings, that's why they come back.
What does it mean to you to have your wonderful wife Judy's name on this Be the Light award?
That's something that we've been talking about for a couple of years, and obviously Judy was a huge part of this, and she loved this event because she enjoyed being with all the people that came and spending time with them, spending time with the kids that are here that are sick and those that are scholarship kids, etc. That was her deal. Her deal was behind the scenes, but kindness and love, making everyone feel like they were the most important person in the room. So it's fitting and meaningful, and the idea started a couple of years ago, and a year and a half ago, and to see it come to fruition is a really nice thing.
You're a very important person here in Jacksonville in this landscape, and this fall you're going to go into the pride of the Jaguars. What does that mean to you?
Well, to just cut it right to the chase, I mean, I started it, and I did so. I came because I felt the historical significance of being in this position was something I really wanted. I had watched Coach Landry do this in Dallas, and so I thought, boy, this is a great opportunity. I want to take advantage of it. And when you come and you start something from scratch, you feel like it's your own. And so that is a huge part of why this is so significant for me to come back in the 30 years later and be recognized in this way. And all those that, let's face it, I'm not getting this myself. This is on behalf of the staff that came here in the very beginning, the people that worked their ever-loving off, the players that came, the players that went through I didn't make it easy because I was looking for those that it meant a lot to, those that could commit to what had to be done. And those that were here, I mean, what they accomplished in the first 5 years, it's never been done in history. It'll probably never be done again.
Lastly, what kind of pride is there to see all this stadium talk about another 30 years about what you helped build?
Well, I think that's really significant, and all those involved and the community ought to be very proud of their decision that they've made, because what the Jaguars mean to this community means great significance. There's only 32 in the world.
Congratulations. Have a good couple days.
Appreciate it.
All right, it's Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin last night at the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund dinner. Terrific night of storytelling and success stories, and also big auction items and everything else to raise money, of course, for families battling childhood cancer. And I know it's kind of short at the end there, but I love this enthusiasm for the stadium. I mean, you could feel it and see it, and he's obviously watching all this unfold and in a place that he now calls home. And it kind of hit me last night. I was like, man, what significance for him? I mean, he's going to the pride of the Jaguars 30 years later, but for a guy that helped start this thing, and there are more names than just Tom Coughlin, but they started this out in a trailer. And now you might, by 2028, get a state-of-the-art facility that's one of the best across the National Football League and probably one of the best in any stadiums in professional sports. That's gonna be a pretty good feeling to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be cool that you're essentially from the blueprint of this franchise and everything, and like starting out with everything was just the papers, and now to see where it's come. And yes, once this new stadium gets built, I'm sure it'll give a lot of satisfaction as the fact of, hey, like he mentioned, he did something that they probably no one's gonna ever do again in terms of success right away from a from a new franchise, and now to see where it's come to, it's got to be super rewarding.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear him talk about just like the vision that why he took the job. Part of the reason why he took the job is he knew there was history in the making here, and then he did say something else like those first 5 years were unbelievable out of the gates, and some of the best years in this franchise's history that we hope get eclipsed by Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson and others, but that to his point might never be eclipsed again as a franchise. A new franchise in professional sports. I mean, it wasn't just 1 year. It was a really good run. Who was it? Vegas, right? The Knights. I mean, they were pretty brand new. Or was it the Kraken? No, was it the Knights that just won?
That had success, yeah,
right away,
Knights
like a couple years in,
correct?
Right, and to win that quick, like that is kind of unheard of in sports,
correct?
But so was what the Jags were doing. And at the time in '96, Carolina was doing it too on that nice little run, but. That staying power, how good the Jags got by the end of that 5-year run, really were there. Many people thought they were the best team in the league, even though they didn't go to the Super Bowl. The Titans ended up beating them. Speaking of teams that are going on a nice run, back to Minnesota real quick in the NBA because, we talk about it a little bit. We always bring up like wrestling and the Attitude Era, and then I brought it up with the NASCAR fight and. I think people like that stuff about sports. I think it gets us going. It kind of breeds polarization when you have personalities. The NFL has them. I don't think Major League Baseball has enough of them, quite frankly. I think Draymond Green and others have acted as this in the NBA before. And I'm not saying Anthony Edwards is that guy, but some of the sound bites, some of the swag, some of the attitude that he has toward the Denver Nuggets of all teams. Like, who doesn't like the Denver Nuggets? Like, who doesn't like Joker and Jamal Murray and those guys? But if you see some of the quotes out of there, and even to the point of, I told the security guy, we'll see you bleepity bleeps in Game 7 when he left. Like he's got some of that. And also backs it up with a win in this series. Because if you're going to talk like that, sooner or later you better back it up.
No, for sure. And listen, I appreciate the swagger. I appreciate the brashness now and we say young. I mean, they're a young team overall, but like Cat's been there for a while. But I just say young in terms of we haven't really seen this type of team before. We haven't really seen this type of style before. And it's refreshing and it's new. And nothing against Jokers. You know how I feel about Joker, and I think I'm kind of in the minority here when I say I really enjoy watching the Nuggets play basketball, and I enjoy watching Joker do his thing. And then last night, listen, they didn't lose because of his play. I mean, the guy was a walking triple-double. Now, he didn't really have a lot of assists because he felt the need to take the game over in his own hands, and that's fine. I think he had 34 points. But I do appreciate, and some people are going to call him cocky and arrogant, and like, what have you accomplished yet? And that's fine. Basketball always needs a good polarizing figure. And I think the Timberwolves are slowly starting to turn into that now because you had really a contrast of personalities and styles now. You have Joker who, maybe comes across as doesn't really care sometimes, but plays at a very high level, but also plays very respectful. I mean, at the end of that game, he was pretty pissed off of how Anthony Edwards was, displaying himself. So I think there's going to be a little of a rivalry going forward now, which is going to be great to see. But if it's me, man, I think it's good for the youth. I think it's good for basketball. And once again, you have Luka taking on Ant now, and there's so many more storylines. But I think just there's a lot to like about the Timberwolves. Oh, by the way, and once again, Naz Reid, who's probably going to be the 6th man of the year, and rightfully so, had the game of his life last night as well, and blocked Joker, had back-to-back buckets, helped securing the win. It was cool to see like an unknown player like him kind of get some shine last night.
Well, if you think about the NBA and where the teams are in the landscape, right? I mean, there were LeBron's teams, and then the Golden State Warriors came about. Mm-hmm. And right now, do you feel like we're kind of in a – the Celtics are really good. I think they've been 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals, right? But – I don't know. I feel like we kind of push them aside. Like, who's the next thing? What's the next thing we're gravitating toward? I mean, it's been Joker and Denver have been very good the last couple of years. Obviously, won a bunch of MVP awards. Is this like the start of Luka and the Mavs? Is it the start of the Timberwolves going on a little bit of a run? Oklahoma City has surprised a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And then there are other teams like even the Cleveland Cavs, like who have built it back pretty nice, kind of under the radar, I think, but have been able to do so. And Donovan Mitchell is a guy that you can get behind there. So it's like I feel like the NBA is in a spot where we really don't know what it looks like the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like we could predict, we can guess. There's definitely candidates, but we really don't know who that Kobe Shaq team, LeBron team, Steph Curry, Durant team, like we just don't know. We thought actually it could be Durant and Booker, and that's kind of fizzled out in terms of their success. So could the Timberwolves be that team?
Yeah, I mean, I think they very well could be. Like, once again, I just think Boston right now is definitely going to be the team to beat until further notice. But I think a team to rally behind because Minnesota has a little bit of everything. They have the defensive workhorse of a Rudy Gobert. They have the folk hero now that is Naz Reid. I mean, a tattoo shop was giving out $20 tattoos that you just basically had the words Naz Reid on it, and people were lining up around the block to get these tattoos. And this was, I think, the last series too. So like he's been kind of a budding folk hero for a while. So you have that. You obviously have the star power now, and you have the is he the next Michael Jordan or not? I mean, let's temper that. But, I mean, people are saying it. And Anthony Edwards. You have kind of this unicorn-like guy in KAT, Karl Anthony Towns, who big man's won the three-point contest before, you know? And then you really have the unsung hero of this whole team, and Joker really saying his praises, said he's the most underrated player in the entire NBA right now, and he's kind of the journeyman, and that's Mike Conley. Who's kind of a guy that gets forgotten about a lot in NBA circles. But, I mean, he did a little bit of everything last night in that stat column. So you have a little bit of everything. Oh, and by the way, and you have a coach who holds his players accountable and pushes them to play defense. So, once again, it's kind of fun to reason not to like the Timberwolves. I get maybe some of the old heads are like, these guys are too cocky. They haven't accomplished anything yet. I don't know, man. I think it says a lot about a player in Anthony Edwards when, you didn't really have your best game per se, but when it's the fourth quarter and you say, hey, I'm taking Jamal Murray because we've seen the Jamal Murray story how many times takes over a fourth. Just ask the Lakers and LeBron how Jamal Murray is in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards said, I want the challenge, and a big reason why the Wolves were able to win was because, Jamal Murray kind of fell off the fourth quarter last night.
Well, the Nuggets said that team was built to beat us. Are they built to beat the Mavs too?
I think so. I mean, I think the perimeter defense of the Wolves, I mean, is going to match up nicely against Luka and Kyrie Irving, you know. And once again, I think when you talk about the big presence that they have with Karl Anthony Towns, and I guess Rudy wants to play offense now, which is kind of crazy to see. I think it's going to be hard to stop, and obviously with the depth as well, I think the Wolves have a lot more depth than the Mavericks do.
Any chance for the Pacers?
I mean, I've been watching the Western Conference really closely because I think they both play defense really well, the Mavericks as well. So it could be a close series. A couple shots here, a couple shots there can make the difference. I think the Celtics are they're going to hand it.
They're like minus 1,400 to win that series.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, very heavy. And, I get it. Halliburton's kind of back to his old ways. Again, he got hurt in January, and people were wondering, okay, is it still bothering him in the playoffs? Well, he dropped 2 30-point games against the Knicks, so I think Halliburton's almost back to being 100%, but there's a reason why they gave him max deal to Drew Holiday, and there's a reason why the Milwaukee Bucks haven't been the same since Drew Holiday left, and that's the fact that he's one of the best, if not the best, perimeter defender in the entire NBA. You're going to put him on Holiday now. I mean, you're going to put him on Halliburton. I think it's going to be a tough time for the Indiana Pacers, especially because they are one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and the Celtics can shoot.
Oilers Canucks, by the way, Game 7 tonight. Dallas is up in place. They got the Mavs and the Stars going in the finals.
That was fun to watch, by the way. The Avalanche losing in devastating fashion. Always one of my favorite times of year. So that was fun to see.
You do not like them.
Do not like the Avalanche. No, sir.
And then you get the Rangers and the Panthers on the other side. So we're down to the Final Four almost in both the NBA and NHL, which take, usually a long time to complete. But we're almost at that end of the long-time playoff run, which have been pretty intriguing in both sports. All right, let's do this. Take a break. We got an hour to go. Still hear from Tony Boselli and LeRoy Butler on the show. We'll recap some of the things about today's press conference with Doug Peterson and also with Ryan Nielsen, as the Jaguars Get OTA #1 in the books. They're just about ready to wrap that up. We showed you a live look earlier, and plays like that. Brian Thomas Jr., this new draft class, getting acclimated to Jacksonville.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store, either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access.
Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence.
You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. a full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I got some raindrops falling out there. I don't think there's supposed to be too much rain this week, actually. I think it's going to get really hot after today. Today's probably the coolest day, and then ramp it up. Maybe summer's here. Summertime.
It's your type of weather, right? You
I
enjoy
love it
the
hot.
heat. Yeah, it's disgusting.
You don't like it?
I don't like sweating. Like, who likes sweating like that much?
Yeah.
I mean, it shows that you're working hard if you're like training and everything. I'm for that. But like, if I'm going to walk outside and stand there and like watch a practice, yeah, I don't want to sweat.
Huh. Well, I don't mind sweating.
Yeah.
Profusely.
There you go.
3 shirt days are back.
Gross.
I thought we held it off pretty good, by the way, for the most part this year. It didn't get hot until like the last couple of weeks, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was kind of a cooler spring, if you will. But I mean, you know what's coming. You know, when it's that summertime and training camp starts and everything. Yeah, it's going to be a 3 t-shirt kind of day.
Yes,
kind
it
of
is.
day.
Then you got to put more in the rotation than 10.
Yeah, or just your washing bill is going to be pretty pricey as well.
Did you see YB, I think, what said earlier? Like, he hangs his T-shirts up. Are you a hanger-up?
Yeah, he said he's a Scorpio. Must be a Scorpio thing. That's
what does that mean?
Oh, come on, Brent. That's like the Zodiac. Not the Zodiac, but like,
I know, like
your sign.
So is that like when your birthday is type
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. So Scorpios are always kind of mysterious and complicated.
Like, people really care about that stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
No.
You know, I heard recently. I was at a wedding recently, and they
Okay.
like totally like got together because of their, what is it called, Kim? What's the sign? What do we?
Zodiac, right? It's Zodiac?
Nah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's Zodiac.
Yeah, it's Zodiac.
Like, I'm a Gemini. I'm a May birthday, so I don't even know what that means. But they basically got together because they were like had that in common. Like, that was like a talking point. Like, that was a fire starter, if you will, which eventually landed in marriage. Like, so do some people believe like we're compatible because of that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like something to do with like how the Earth and the stars and everything. Where if you burn a certain time, it gives you certain personality traits. I'm trying to find. So you said you're a Gemini?
Yeah. What does it say about me?
I mean, I'm not.
Probably read it.
This one's this one's like way too nice. So
says I'm
we have to
awesome.
it says you're smart and
best.
you're wise, and let's just relax it. Let's get a little more pros and cons with it. 1 second.
Well, you can go deeper. You can do the deeper search.
Yeah. I'm going way deep here. We got some time. All right. So yeah. See, I mean, a lot of this kind of goes hand in hand with you here.
Really,
so,
it fits.
Excellent communication skills.
Oh yeah. Pretty good at that.
Adaptability, versatile. Intellectual curiosity, social magnetism. Cons include indecisiveness, restlessness, preach, emotional instability, and being unreliable as he shows up 5 minutes late.
That's a good point. There's some of that. I guess there's some things mixed in there.
Yeah.
Those are very
one more thing.
wide array of words that could fit. Like, oh yeah, that fits, but that doesn't fit, right? Like unreliable. I don't think I'm unreliable. Now, unreliable could be like, yeah, I am late a lot, so maybe that is unreliable.
Yeah.
But other 9 things that fall under unreliable, I don't think it would fit me.
So job recommendation. It says the best jobs for Gemini are those that involve communication, creativity, and analytical skills.
All right.
For instance, interior design, architecture, FBI profiler, insurance, and data analysis.
All right, let's do that again. Which one should I have been?
All right, architecture?
No.
Nah.
I'm going interior design.
Gross. Hey, he couldn't even. He let Liv design our studio. No way.
No way. Here's the thing. Like, I might be okay at that. Like if I put my mind to it, but I don't feel like I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one falls.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to say FBI profiler, but you good at reading people?
I actually think I would be okay at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could do that.
Okay. And insurance just sounds kind of boring, with all due respect. But like,
yeah, I don't know why insurance comes in. I mean, those were like 3 wide-ranging.
Well, because I feel like with insurance, though, you have to be good at like people's skills and communication.
Yeah, well, and insurance business is a very analytical
Yeah.
business.
Yep.
With a lot of like probability and
Yeah.
things like that to it. So
One of the things, once again, an idea that just didn't.
they're not called zodiac signs though. Like zodiac is like the dragon and the rat and the tiger and stuff like that, isn't it?
No.
That's astrology.
That's the Chinese. Yeah, but the zodiac sign is those are the signs of the zodiac.
Okay.
You're thinking of like the Chinese New Year
okay.
thing.
Okay.
An idea that I had that obviously just found deaf ears, but I think we should incorporate, especially when we have 10 different producers coming in and out, is I want to bring in like an expert on this and like give her all our birth dates and see if like we can actually coexist with each other. Because me and you are good.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Where's your birthday?
Kim Possible, my birthday's in November. I'm a Scorpio. Kim Possible bringing the A game, but we got to find out if Hamby ever comes into the full-time role, if we got something there or not.
Yeah, good point. Kim, when's your birthday?
April.
So what is that? Are you
I'm an Aries. Mine.
Okay, that's before the Gemini. Do you care about that? Do you look at that?
I mean, they say that Aries have a fiery personality. I
Does
think
that
your
fit?
twins are also Aries.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One of them has a fiery personality. Especially. I don't know if I just don't ever see this, but I guess is it a big thing? Like, do more people believe in this stuff or follow this stuff than like I know?
Yeah, I mean, if you go on like on dating apps, some of like
is that part of it?
Some of it can be like, hey, what's your sign? Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, people think it's super serious.
What is the dating app of choice right now? Is it Bumble? Is it?
It all depends what you're into. It all depends what you're looking for.
There's different
Tinder.
sections.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Is Tinder still Tinder?
Hey, Tinder's still Tinder out there. Hinge.
I know what you're looking for. If you're not Tinder.
Tinder's still Tinder out there. Hinge is a little more of like you got to showcase your personality a little more. Like
Okay.
it ain't a free ride at Hinge. You have to do the work.
You got to do some work.
You got to do the work.
Do they have another alternate one to Hinge called Unhinged? Because that would be really cool.
And then Bumble, no, that'd be great actually. And then Bumble is kind of like Hinge, but the Bumble, it's like a Sadie Hawkins dance where the female has to initiate.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which, hey,
Queen Bee.
go ahead and watch. Yeah, have at it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
More power to you.
That's funny.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, Brent, Gemini and Scorpio's compatibility not high at all.
Really?
That's what me and you are.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, for 3 hours, it usually seems to be. Usually. Well, we'll continue to follow along. I did have a random thought today, by the way, since we're on to this before we get to headlines.
You know what's funny about this, though? I'm just reading this, and once again,
now you're deep diving. Man.
I am deep diving.
You're down a rabbit hole.
So Geminis, if you take a Gemini and Scorpio friendship, Geminis are known for providing analytical leadership, while the Scorpios are a little more rough around the edges, providing advice, but with really funny stories.
All right. We are compatible.
Yeah.
Or at least living up to our whatever.
Yeah, if they get along, which is rare, they can be a nearly unbreakable couple.
Hey, here we are.
Here we are.
They tried to break us up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm going to start believing in this crap more than I
I'm
thought.
just saying, man, it's checking a lot of boxes here.
I love it.
I'm not trying to be all like. I'm wearing a door shirt though, so I guess we're kind of going down that rabbit hole today. But interesting, yeah.
That's a good rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I got. I will say I've got another random thought of the day. I came up with this one over the weekend.
Hit me with it.
And Kim, you might be able to answer this. I don't know if I'm stereotyping here, but you just look smarter than us when it comes to nails.
Nails?
Yeah. Why do my fingernails grow more on my left hand than my right?
Kim, take it away.
Are you right-handed?
No, I'm left.
I don't know.
Actually, like Kaylee, I think I was talking to. I think I brought up around Kaylee, and she's like, "Well, maybe it's." I think it was Kaylee who said it. Maybe it's because you're left-handed, you have more blood flow.
Now we're talking.
Maybe it wasn't Kaylee. It was one of her friends. I don't think Kaylee said that, but I want to give credit where credit is due. But I thought that was a pretty good reason. I didn't look this up. Out of the random thoughts I look up, I just want to be told. But isn't that kind of weird? Like, do your nails grow at a faster rate, Kim, on one hand than the other?
I mean, I break them a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, but like I
I'm
bite
right-handed,
mine,
so
or just like I'll trim them. But
Nervous? What's going on, man? You all right?
Nah, just
You got some
bored.
anxiety?
It's kind of why I have like 6 coffees a day.
Just
I need something like in my
bored.
hand.
All right, so you said your dominant hand grows faster, or you're not
Dominant.
Yeah. So according to oh yeah, this is legit. Scratchmagazine.co.uk. The science of nails and how they grow and what makes them grow faster. So your dominant hand's nails will grow at a quicker speed. The rate of growth differs by around 0.1 mm. Keep in mind this is in the UK, so
Millimeter, yeah.
yeah, okay, millimeters, which is quite noticeable from finger to finger. So your nails will grow more on your dominant hand.
So it says it will, but does it say the why? Does it actually say why? Now you guys have to check this, all right?
Yeah, I know,
Do your nails grow faster on your dominant hand? And does that work that way with your dominant feet? Or foot? Dominant feet, dominant foot.
Okay, interestingly, the rate of growth is 3 times faster for a bitten nail compared to. So if you bite your nails, your fingernails will grow 3 times as fast.
Ah, see, that's it. I bite my nails more on my left hand than I do on my right.
Say no more, man. There you go.
That's probably so. The combination of both,
Yeah.
are accelerating this. This is kind of like if you cut, like if you shave, right, or if you
What is that?
cut your, doesn't it come back quicker? Isn't
Correct.
That,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that is real, right?
Yeah.
I didn't just make that up.
No, I think that's real.
Yeah, the more you like shave or the more you trim your hair or whatever else, right? It comes back sometimes even more. Like if I were to shave my chest hair,
Correct.
it would come back probably even more or fast.
I assume so. I mean, they did it in Seinfeld, but I think that actually is true as well.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, if you wax it, does it do the same?
I don't know. I have to try it.
Yeah.
Live on the show.
Don't nair, by the way. I tried that one time.
Yeah, you've told.
I've told.
not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That stung, huh?
Yeah. Not one of my finer moments. That and putting when I tried to straighten my beard too, that didn't work out well either because I ended up like really messing up my skin and my chin. So yeah.
All right. There you go.
Don't straighten beards, everybody, with like, the hair chemicals. That's for your hair, and don't use nair on body parts that you shouldn't be using them on.
All right, there you go. Life lessons today: horoscopes to fingernails, knowledge, and now even body hair.
We're covering it all, Brent.
It's what we do here for you. In the lunchtime. Jags did go OTAs. We'll do the headlines of that and have a conversation with LeRoy Butler, Jacksonville's own Hall of Famer, Green Bay Packer, his prediction for the game coming up in October. That's all on the way. Let's take a timeout. We'll give you an update on St. John's Country Day, trying to hang on to a win, up 3-2 in the 7th, but 2 runners on for Northside Christian. So we'll tell you how that turns out over the next couple minutes as well. Miller and Moulton tomorrow morning, and then us 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. It's part of the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network and lineup. I'm not sure they're talking about horoscopes and other things. Probably a little bit more sports. But hey, each their own.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out GWOutdoorLiving.com for your free estimate.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there's a look at that schedule, the Jaguars schedule, and that includes a matchup with the Green Bay Packers on October 27th. Home game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It will be LeRoy Butler week in Jacksonville. He actually has an event clinic camp coming up on June 22nd, he told me last night. So keep an eye out on that. Of course, the pride of formerly Lee High School, Riverside High School. Played for the great Corky Rogers, Hall of Famer, Lambeau Leap. That's LeRoy Butler. And let's not wait around. We'll get right to it. It's always fun to catch up with LeRoy. Obviously, you know he's a folk hero back in your home state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's definitely a folk hero. Started one of the originators, one of the authors, if you will, of Jumping in the Stands.
Yeah.
I mean, in Green Bay. So yeah, I mean that guy's a living legend. In the state of Wisconsin, obviously pretty big legend here too.
He's got like his own like brat line, I think, and other like food lines, and probably some. I think a lot of these guys now do like a whiskey or a vodka.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but I mean he's got the brand is big for LeRoy.
The brand is huge, and maybe none other. When I was growing up as a kid, I've told the story before. I told the story to him, and then he gave my mom a lot of too many props. So I thought like, hey, take it easy. But my mom doesn't need He mentioned my mom a couple of times, which made me a little uncomfortable when we interviewed him. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He brought it up a couple of times. The story that I told is that when I was going to a Sunday school sing-along thing, I had to sing in front of a crowd. And my mom went above and beyond to make me dress up for it, which you know how I feel about dressing up. Even at that age, Brent, in first grade, I was over it, and I had to wear a turtleneck. And I hated turtlenecks because they're just not comfortable at all. You can't breathe in them. You're getting choked up a little bit. And my mom said, well, LeRoy Butler wears them. I'm like, okay. All right. You know, like I'm almost like, cause you know how you get super emotional? Like when you're a kid and you almost like you're in tears because like it's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
When you're that age. So
especially wearing something.
So I was like, fine, I'll suck it up and I'll wear it because like I thought, okay, well, if Leroy Butler can wear one, then I can wear him for this, this choir concert thing. And needless to say, I didn't enjoy it. But shout out to Leroy Butler for getting me through that dark time in my life. Appreciate you, man.
I love how impactful LeRoy can be, even when it comes to turtlenecks.
Say no more.
It's so funny as I can envision him too wearing that. So,
dude,
which at that time of my life, I'm not sure like I would. Again, I'm not in Jacksonville at that time. I don't know the whole Butler story, but I can see that so clearly. I don't know if there's another guy I can see on the planet wearing turtlenecks.
And listen, this
like
wasn't
I can LeRoy Butler.
This wasn't like a turtleneck like Drake would wear. We're talking about like he was in a car accident and had like whiplash and he had to wear like the donut around his neck. Like, this turtleneck was like 10 ply. This thing was like super thick.
LeRoy Butler, always great to catch up with, and I love when you talk to LeRoy Butler. He always brings up Jacksonville. He brings up his roots, his mom, and his family, and how he was raised to get to the point where he's at. Flew in from Wisconsin with his wife to attend the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund, and we had a chance to catch up with LeRoy Butler. Welcome back
from here.
Welcome back.
Now, I love the fact that we were just here for Tony's foundation, but what Coach is doing with the Jay Fund is amazing. I told him he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, but he really deserves it in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Whenever you beat Tom Brady twice, you should be in the Hall of Fame. But these events are amazing because you meet people who you don't know and you help people who you don't know. That's what my mom told me what a real hero is. That's why we came all the way from Wisconsin to support Coach.
We're so proud of people like you that came from Jacksonville and wearing that jacket now and all the things that you've done. How much pride is it in this area for Tony Boselli? I know he's not a native, but the guys like Tom Coughlin, just the talent, but also the people that are here that football's brought to light and made this place a better place.
I appreciate it because me and Doug Peterson played together in Green Bay and won Super Bowl 31. But from an African-American kid like me, single parent, from the Blodgett home, Jefferson Street, to being at events like this, it's full circle because of my teachers who were wonderful in all of my schools and my mom, who was my hero. So she just always told me to be available for the community. And I just appreciate that because Jacksonville, although it's a beautiful place, it's still considered a small market. So these kind of events are paramount to keep helping the kids and the people in our community, especially with Tony's Foundation, what Coach does. And I don't think, humbly speaking, Coach Coughlin doesn't get enough credit, who was an expansion team with Mark Bunnell and the guys. They go to the AFC Championship game and won a lot of games and leave and go to the Giants, win 2 Super Bowls, but he still come back here. That's what I was talking about. And he don't do it for awards. And he'll probably be embarrassed when you play this. But I just love and respect him, and one day he will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Last one, Jags, Packers, October 27th.
We're going to beat them by 15, 20 points. No.
It's the Leroy Butler week. Are you coming back? You're going to do a whole bunch of events?
Most definitely. Me and Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. Nobody can block the guy. The guy's truly amazing. And again, Doug has really brought a spirit back to this team. And I know sometimes you have the ups and downs, but in that division they're in, they can win that division. All they have to do is make sure Trevor Lawrence is upright and healthy and run the football. That's all you need. So I think Jacksonville is one of those teams that people just kind of sit back and wait and see what they're going to do. But they got to run the football, keep the quarterback healthy, because Doug has a plan. And he won a Super Bowl and played in a Super Bowl. Not many coaches can say that.
Welcome back. LeRoy Butler. And, always a fun conversation with LeRoy Butler, and I love what he says about those guys. It's interesting to hear him bring up certain names like Josh Allen, guys that jump out, because he covers the Packers, right? He does a lot for the Packers, and so he's covering the NFL. And so when I hear him bring up Josh Allen, it's not like, he just knows the team. He certainly knows players around the league, but obviously that's a name that resonates with him, which shows me outside of Jacksonville, that's a name that's resonating outside of Jacksonville, kind of obviously Trevor Lawrence. He's talked about Trevor a bunch of times. And then, and now, obviously Josh Allen joins that. But he goes all the way back to '91 with Doug Peterson. He has a great affection and affinity for Doug. And the couple of times we've talked to LeRoy recently. He was in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame last fall, and we talked to him again. And Doug came up, and it was kind of a cool embrace to see Doug and LeRoy Butler get back together.
Yeah.
So, just what a great representation of Jacksonville and this city LeRoy Butler is, and one of the great personalities, really, the NFL has seen, and a fantastic football player. So pretty cool to check up with him at the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund. Let's do it one more time, actually. Let's just get Tony in real quick, because I thought Tony was interesting. I asked him about Judy Coughlin, who passed away, and this Be the Light Award at the Tom Coughlin Jay Fund. Judy Coughlin, tremendous lady. And it's cool that they're recognizing her. I also asked him about Tom Coughlin going to the Pride of the Jaguars, and I thought Tony almost got a little emotional about it, the idea of that. And I think it was pretty impactful what he said. So here's the conversation, if Kim's ready, with Tony Boselli.
It just keeps getting bigger and better, and I guess remembering the people that are so close to Coach and everyone else.
Yeah, listen, Coach Coughlin, the whole Coughlin family's done an amazing job. Judy was obviously a huge part of the foundation, and them honoring, Jay McGillis and with the Jay Fund and all these years, it gets bigger and bigger, and they help so many families that on an issue that none of us want to deal with. And so it's great to be here. It's great to support Coach. He's such an important part of this community and what they do with the Jay Fund. Obviously everyone loves what he did for the Jaguars, but I think Jacksonville should be pretty proud of what he's done through the foundation.
He gets to join you in the Pride this year.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. I'm so excited that he's going to be up there as he deserves. You can't tell the story of this franchise without him. In fact, all of us at the beginning are here because of him, everybody. And there's still guys working there that are here because of Tom Coughlin. So he deserves to be there as one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. And I'm hoping one day he'll be up in Canton as well.
It just keeps some pretty profound words from Tony Boselli as he is talking about Tom Coughlin. Not just the pride of the Jaguars, but also Pro Football Hall of Fame, which we think he'll probably make it someday. We don't know when that is, but I think everybody around here thinks that could happen and should happen, and LeRoy Butler and Tony Boselli certainly do think that as well. Hey, some headlines from today's OTAs. A couple of things. I mentioned Josh Allen. He's not here. He's in Arizona. No big deal. You think the whole team should go there.
Yes. Come on. Let's go.
We've talked about a couple different ways. It's like it's the new way. It's okay. Like, it is okay to say, I'm not coming to OTAs. These are voluntary. We respect that as an organization. Get yourself ready, especially a guy that gets himself ready in this way. It's a big season for Josh, though, to follow up what he did. And I don't know what that looks like. I think that's a little bit unfair to say 17.5 sacks is what it has to look like, but it has to look good. It has to look dominant at times. It has to be a big season for Josh after signing that contract.
No, it has to be big, but also, I think it's unrealistic to expect, all right, well, you had, 17.5 last season? Let's get 20 this year. Like, it's just – and ideally, I don't want that for Josh Allen, because that means that then what are the other guys doing? When you have Trayvon Walker, when they have the best 1-2 punch at the edge and you bring in Eric Armstead, like, I think all those guys can eat. So if Josh Allen's getting over – I can't remember what the number that I set was, but I think it was like over 12.5, like 13 sacks.
Yeah.
I'll be happy. Then obviously a lot has to do with leadership as well. And I think he alluded to that, speaking to us, about a month back now, or a little more than a month back, when he got his new deal. I mean, it's not only what you bring on the field, but what you bring outside of the field in that locker room to these younger teammates coming in. And I think he has all of that. So, yeah, I'm expecting big things from Josh Allen. Hopefully he can keep on the momentum rolling here. And obviously to justify getting paid all that money.
Yeah, so a couple other storylines today. The Jaguars will practice with the Bucks, and that will be fun to see guys like Josh Allen go against the Bucks. This was a game that was a disaster for the Jags last year, right before Christmas, if you remember, and it punched the Jags flop to 4 games at the time in the month of December. But the Bucks had come on strong. Baker Mayfield, what the Bucks had been able to do, and you just mentioned it earlier in the show today. I think it's a good one. The Jags secondary is the kind of the question mark. All eyes will be on the Jags secondary against that wide receiving core, a veteran receiving core headlined by Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great test for this Jaguars secondary, and this Jaguars secondary, they need to be tested because we need to know what they have. We need to know who's going to be coming out in front, being the starting cornerbacks and, secondary of this team. So I think anytime you get a chance to play against a pretty high-caliber offense with some pretty good wide receivers, that's only going to help you. It's going to help Ryan Nielsen, and I think it's going to kind of separate, hey, who's going to be the starter and who's going to be riding the pine a little bit.
And by the way, that second game is against the Bucks. It will be at home, so the Jags are hosting this. We've seen a lot of times. In fact, we've been on the road with the Jags a bunch. Detroit last year, Minnesota, New England, Baltimore, Atlanta over the years. And it's not just a Doug Peterson thing, Doug Marrone thing. That a lot of joint practices over the years, but most recently hasn't been one here in Jacksonville quite some time. Got to go back and look that up, but it's been a while since that has taken place. The other storyline, Gabe Davis not here because he just had a kid over the weekend, so congratulations to him. So it'll be a little bit, probably a few more days until we see Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. on the field. But we did get a look in today at Brian Thomas Jr. and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Trevor Lawrence throwing them. We took a live peek, second hour of the show for a good long time, by the way, of seeing what the Jags were doing there at OTA. So you can always go back and check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Action Sports Jacks. You can see it on Twitter and Facebook and Twitch. Go back and watch a show in hour number 2 at the start of it. And you can also see a replay on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network later today on ActionNewsJacks.com and the Action News Jacks app. Trevor Lawrence contract. Doug Peterson continues to talk about it. Well, not continues, but did talk about it. Trent Baalke talked about it. Even now, it's getting some national headlines here that the Jags are working. I think the word was tirelessly. I don't know if I interpreted their words that way, but they certainly are working toward a deal. And I think we're getting to the point in Jacksonville, kind of like the stadium deal, where we feel like, okay, at some point over the next few months, we are going to get news of a Trevor Lawrence extension. With the amount of conversation and transparency they're having about it. How far is it? How close is it? I don't think it's imminent from what I could find out over the weekend, but at the same time, these things can move fast once you get to an agreement. I think I'd be surprised at this point if Trevor Lawrence didn't have a new contract deal by the time we either got to training camp or the start of the regular season. It won't happen once the season begins.
And what it comes down to is how much is that money going to be? I think Jared Goff has once again reset the market at the quarterback position, making $53 million a year. That's second right now, right behind Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow, at the time, it was so monumental and almost unheard of how much money he was making per year. Well, now Jared Goff closes that gap a little bit, and one's going to wonder, does Trevor Lawrence fit between Jared Goff and Joe Burrow and maybe like a $54 million contract, or does Trevor Lawrence once again reset the market maybe over $55 million? Brent, you alluded to, it's not necessarily about being the highest paid quarterback in his eyes, but once again, it's his camp's job to get him as much money as possible. So I'm very curious to see when it's all said and done. Could be a month from now, could be even longer, could be shorter. Time will tell. But I am really curious to see where exactly he's going to slide into in terms of being one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, we asked the question earlier in the show, too, if does it matter that much to him? Sure, it matters to the agents and camp. Doesn't matter where he fits in or, hey, let's get a deal done. I'm set for life, and now let's go play ball and go win. So I don't think it's that big a deal to him. I get the business side thinks it's a big deal to continue to tick up and move the rock down the road, if you will, in terms of extending other players who will get bigger deals as the years go by. Last one for me, Ryan Nielsen, from a headline standpoint, basically said there is no depth chart. There is no depth chart. Did you hear that a lot? Because I haven't heard that a bunch over the years. But, I mean, right now there's no depth chart, meaning, hey, we're going to play people all over the place. We're going to fight for the jobs. Nobody's got their job. I mean, we know people have their jobs, right? But I do think on Nielsen's defense, there are some unknowns at who will be listed number 1 on the depth chart, listed number 2, specifically in that secondary.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're a new coordinator, whether you're on offense or defense, and you're coming into a new spot, still trying to learn the players and everything, a good way to set a new precedent is to say, hey, there is no starters right now. But, I mean, come on, we know.
Yeah.
Trevor Walker, Josh, like, you're going to have your starters, but you want to prevent the fact of, hey, I don't really know you guys right now. Like, yeah, I've seen film and everything, but, like, I haven't coached around you. I don't know what you guys bring to the table. So this is your opportunity here in OTAs and mini camps alike to try to prove yourselves a little bit, show me what you got, and then we can adjust accordingly. So I'm not surprised by any means the fact that there's, quote-unquote, no depth chart right now. I think it's a new coordinator getting his footing a little bit and giving people an equal opportunity to try to make a name for themselves in this defense.
Yeah, I do think there are some questions, like who that starting secondary, really 4 or 5 guys are going to be, if you really count the nickel. What are the roles of some of the linebackers that they have on the roster? How do they use a Chad Muma? How are they going to use Devin Lloyd? And then what do they do up front in terms of versatility? How much do they mix that up? So, I mean, there are a lot of questions at what it looks like, but the problem there is we're not going to find out what that looks like until September. Right? Yeah. They're not going to tell too many people what that looks like. All right, let's do this. Take one more break here on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. 4-3, bottom of the 7th, and George Gilson just drove in 2 with a double for St. John's Country Day to win the game down there in Fort Myers. They had given up the lead, and then they score a double to win it. What a season for Gilson. Unbelievable. A heck of a player. He's headed to Flagler, by the way, and he's had a great year for St. John's Country Day. Came up in a big spot. They had 2 outs, nobody on. They relinquished the lead in the top of the 7th, and then he hits a big double to walk it off. Congratulations to him. 2nd straight walk-off for St. John's Country Day, and now they'll play for a state championship on Wednesday down there in Fort Myers. Congrats to those guys. What an exciting couple of days. And, hey, a lot of pressure, a lot of target on that team, and Trinity Christian and St. John's Country Day delivers in the end with a 5-4 win. It just happened as I was headed to break as we saw it. So congrats again to George Gilson on what a big-time hit. He actually hit the walk-off 2-run homer the other day in the regional finals to get them to the state Final Four, and he delivers to get them to a state championship game. And high school sports are about moments. Sports are about moments. George just had a couple in the last few days.
Beautiful, man.
That's good stuff. We'll be right back.
We all have our favorite spots in town to eat, drink, and have a good time. And once in a while, we try a new spot. This new spot will soon become your favorite spot. It's 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco. Where else can you get unicorn fish? It was really good. They have local fresh seafood. Try a terrific burger or a Jack's Hot Chicken sandwich. The ambiance is perfect for any occasion. The idea here is to have fun, have a good time. Whether you're chilling out on the couches, cozying up to the bar, having lunch or dinner, it's a throwback experience. 1937, when going out to dinner was like going to a party. They even have a photo booth. Who doesn't like a good photo booth? We recently brought the entire team out to try it, and everyone said, I'm bringing my significant other here to try it as well. The new spot becomes your favorite spot. Make 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco your new favorite spot.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access.
Welcome to String Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence.
You can bring your party or event to String Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jags on the field and now off the field as they are done with OTA number 1. This was video actually from the rookie minicamp, but we showed you live video. If you go back, you can see some of the action from OTA number 1. Stuart Weber had a report, again, going to hour number 2 of the show, right around 10:55, 11 o'clock this morning. And we showed for a good 20 minutes or so and visited once again for a little bit during one of the open sessions. So pretty cool thing we can do here on the Brent and Austen Show on Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Just some of the things that we can do along the way. By the way, just right before the break, I mean, that's really cool stuff. St. John's Country Day just won on a walk-off. I mean, this time of year is so fun. Obviously, we're living it. We'll have no gate fees presented by Nimnik Buick GMC on Wednesday. It's our last show, and we could have some state champs by then. And St. John's Country Day is playing for a state championship now that day. They won 5-4. It was a 2-2 game. They score. They go 3-2. They give up 2 runs with 2 outs in the 7th on a double. And there are 2 outs, nobody on. They get a single and a walk and then a double by George Gilson. And that kid is having a terrific year. We play and know him really well. Ty plays with him in the summer. And actually, he's going to Flagler with Ty. So good for that young man. He has found the bat in a big-time way this year. He's having a terrific year. Leads the way for a very talented team. So good for him and good for St. John's Country Day. They live another day. They'll play for a state title. They've been right there in the mix, and so they keep knocking on the door. And they'll give themselves another chance to get one. Trinity Christian plays tomorrow. Charlton County plays today. And then softball-wise, Baker County goes on Wednesday, but Baldwin and UC go tomorrow. So we're keeping our eye on all those teams trying to win a state championship. We're also keeping our eye on the Jacksonville Jaguars as they go to OTA number 2 tomorrow, and then they'll have another one on Thursday that will put a cap on this week. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. They have those huddles keep going for the stadium. I just keep monitoring this quietly, and I don't know if you had any conversations over the weekend, but I feel like this is way smoother from my perspective than I thought it would be on the stadium stuff. Like I thought there would be, and I'm not telling you there isn't. Like I'm not into the political weeds on this, sure. and people we follow on Twitter or interact with on social media, and quite frankly, it was a very busy last week for me anyway. I probably wasn't on Twitter as much as I normally am, which is saying a lot. But I still don't see a lot of negative stuff coming out of the stadium agreement and presentation and now discussions. There's certainly questions. These huddles that go on tonight, there's another one at Fletcher High School at 6 o'clock if you want to go out, by the way.
Nice.
But like, what would you ask? Like, and people are asking about the pay and other things. People have asked about parking. I mean, it's kind of all out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not necessarily anything to, like, in terms of transparency.
There's no real hidden things, Rick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even in my sit-down with Mark, I thought the thing that was a bit interesting, at least for me with the presentation, that I wanted to follow up on was the $150 million.
Yeah.
That was that, and that was more of, hey, yeah, they haven't been keeping up. I mean, Mark was very blunt there. It was like, yeah, the city had not been keeping up with what they were supposed to be doing with the stadium, and you still have to get it across the finish line here when we do get construction and leave in 26 or 27 when we're not playing games for a year. So there's stuff to be done. You can't just have a stadium just crumbling down, right? So that was a pretty direct answer, and I don't really know of another. There's not really a follow-up to that. It's like it is what it is. I just saw Mike Bianchi down in Orlando. He wrote an article today or a column today trying to get them to Jacksonville to Orlando because they want it. Like that's really probably the unanswered question, which Mark told us they might have that by the end of the calendar year, but they don't even want to think about that until there's approval because there's no reason to think about it until there's approval. So by the end of the calendar year, it's either Gainesville or Orlando, and it looks like both really want it. And Orlando's going to really make kind of like a little push to say, hey, we're excited about having it, which makes some sense to me.
No, it definitely makes some sense. I mean, they have all the capabilities of hosting an NFL team for a few years, and I think obviously from Orlando's like, if Disney wasn't enough for you, let's get an NFL team in town with their fans and everything and make some more money. So I think for the city of Orlando, it makes a lot of sense, and you know where I stand. I think it makes even more sense than Gainesville, honestly, just from being able to fly into the airport if you're a visiting team and things like that. I just think it makes a lot of sense. So I get that Ben Becker alluded to, the owners of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do they have some investment in Orlando too, or they wouldn't want to see that? That's a possibility. But at the end of the day, man, opportunity, I think, is going to prevail over everything.
Yeah. And again, so if there's some things like when you go to these, if you go to these, what would you be asking? Or do you see some problems with it? Are there more red flags and pitfalls than we know about? So, or that we are hearing. It's pretty interesting to gauge the temperature. We're a week in. I mean, it hasn't even been a week since it's been proposed. I just thought we'd see a little more, I don't know, Twitter works that way alone, right? You think you'll get a little bit more of that feedback, pushback. Oh, but what? I haven't seen a lot of that or heard of that, and maybe I'm missing it is my point.
You actually have a question in the comments. Look at me reading the comments over here. What happens if the NFL owners vote against the deal and ask the city for more? How would Jacksonville react to that? That's what we should be concerned about. That's from Duval Jags. Brent Martineau, take it away.
Yeah, here's I asked that question to Mark, and he looked at me. This was the question where he looked at me like, kind of like you're an idiot. I don't think he was really saying that, but it kind of felt like it because I had said, hey, is this it? Is there can we go back and forth? Is there wiggle room? If really I said this and council doesn't like it, or if there's something that they poke holes in, because I think that's going to be a little bit of their job, right? Like poke holes in it. And basically, I mean, the deal is agreed upon. They're in it together. I like the way Mark phrased it. He's like, well, we are on the same team here. We are both trying to get this across the finish line. So, I mean, it would have to be something pretty significant for like council to be like, hey, you got to go back to the drawing board or we're not passing it. is my interpretation. Now, from the NFL side of things, I don't think that's going to be the case. Here's the deal, Duval Jags. They are not taking this, the NFL owners, if they don't think it can get approval. There's a lot of conversation that goes on. I think I've told you this many times. Roger Goodell came here in the fall and basically said, hey, this is what this kind of needs to look like, right? They are on committees. They know. They've just passed through the Tennessee one, the Buffalo one, other ones. They know what the parameters of this look like. So I think that's why you see it the way you see it at 55-45 and some of that other money added in and presented a little bit differently. But I think they're smart enough to know how to get this over the finish line with NFL owners. So I don't think that will happen. Now, you phrased the question. This would be an interesting one. What's the easier approval? City council or the owners? In my view, it's the owners. Because I think the parameters are more in place. When you're going through city council, there are no real parameters that city council has led up. Like I said, hey, if you do this, we will say yes.
Yeah, but I feel like owners can be more petty.
They can. But again, I believe this. I really do. And I don't know. I haven't asked a bunch of people, but I've heard a little things around enough NFL events that I think Shad's very well respected. I think people are rooting for Shad here in the Jags here. I think sometimes there's this look that everybody's rooting against Jacksonville. I don't think that's the case here in the NFL. Now, could there be an owner or two or three that don't agree with the whole Jacksonville thing? I think that also is real. But I think people are rooting for Jacksonville here.
I hear you, and I don't think it's necessarily even against Shad Khan. I think it's more of just like, whoa, that's what I like. It would be kind of a deal how much it's going to cost or anything, and then people are going to be like, well, I want that deal. I just think sometimes pettiness can be a thing when it comes to people in power. But
yeah, that can happen. That can happen. So yeah, I don't know. I believe city council is the harder one to pass through, but I'm not sure I'm right on that.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of saying. So anyway, we'll have another huddle tonight at Fletcher High School if you're interested at 6 o'clock, and we'll see what comes about.
Hey, Brent, you ever got an email from Google warning you that you're in critical right now in terms of how much storage you used in your Gmail account? Because I am at that point.
I have not. On my Google Drive, I have gotten that,
but
not on
man.
my email.
Talking about the email, that's what happens when you have 114,270 emails just chilling there in the cut.
So how are you going to fix that?
I also want to play out.
You won't just go copy all delete?
Nah, I'm too committed now. I'm not going to delete anything now.
Nothing?
No.
Well, what are you going to have to get more storage space? It's going to cost you.
Well, then I'll get a new email. I mean, listen.
I'll get a new email.
What's done is done. I'm not deleting anything now, all right? I've lived this lifestyle for 12 years of this Gmail account. I ain't going to change it now. So 114,270 or bust. And you think I'm lying?
No, I don't think you're lying.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many things of importance you've missed over the years.
There's some birthday parties, some Facebook posts. We're fine.
We'll show you all the highlights of St. John's big win and Jags coverage today on Action Sports Jack.